in the twinkling of an eye, a career can come and go in Major League Baseball. And I always thought that what had to be a traumatic moment for you was that day at Jarry Park in Montreal when you were out there on the mound and started to pitch and something happened and you walked off that mound. I always thought you really didn't know what the future had from that moment on.
I think it was the lowest point in my career, too, as far as how I felt mentally. I threw the pitch. It was 2 out in the 5th inning, 2 strikes on John Bateman. I was going to bust him inside with a fastball, which I did, and my arm just went numb. And I horsed around the mound, picking up the rosin bag and adjusting my cap, trying to get some circulation or nerve work done in my arm, and nothing happened. And I was beginning to waste too much time, and finally Hodges came out there, figured there was something wrong. Right. And I told him, I said, I don't understand, Gil. I think, my arm's numb. I think if I just wait a little bit, it'll be all right. And he said, no, we'll bring somebody else in. They flew me back to New York. Dr. Lamont checked me out, couldn't find nothing wrong. Everything felt great. I met the club in Chicago the next day, which was my second day to throw, and I couldn't get the ball to home plate. It hurt so bad. Tears come to my eyes, and I thought my career was over with, and I just felt probably in the deepest hole I'd ever been in. And I just seen this, and he told me that night just to go out and loosen up, which is what I did. But it took about a month to finally work out a big knot I had in my shoulder. When they did that, everything was fine again.
That may be the only case in which a manager ever had to tell Jerry Koosman to go out and loosen up. We'll continue with this interview from the Met Dugout in just a moment. If you're in the market for a new or used car, you know you're going to shop around because you know a lot of dealers are selling the same car at different prices with different options. Did you ever think it was the same way with auto loans? There are lots of banks out there with auto loans, but they've got different price tags and different options, too. You can shop around all you want for an auto loan, but Manufacturers Hanover can save you a lot of time and money. It's as simple as that. Looking for options? Here's a beauty. If you have both a checking and savings account with them, Manufacturers Hanover will automatically deduct 0.25% off your loan rate. Let them deduct your loan payments from your checking account, and you'll save another 0.25% on top of that. All auto loans aren't the same. All banks aren't the same either. Manufacturers Hanover makes more auto loans than any major bank in town. After all, they don't make any money turning people down. At Manufacturers Hanover, it's banking the way you want it to be. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender. We're in the Met Dugout talking to Jerry Koosman, who was yesterday's winner on opening day. 3-1 victory for Jerry. He's just been talking about the lowest point in his career when he hurt his arm in Montreal. Let's talk about some of the real high points now. You won 21 games year before last.
Well, that was definitely a personal high point in my career. I think 69 still thrives above that, but 76 personally was really a lot of fun. I'd seen Seaver win 20 games, seen him elated, and had him try to tell me how much fun it was and just the great feeling you had. But you don't really understand what type of feeling it is until you do it yourself. And I remember that night after the game, I said, now I finally realize how you feel. And there's no way you can explain it to anybody else here, only you know. And it was something just like that. You just can't explain it.
And then last year, you were a 20-game loser. And how does that feel?
Well, that was very depressing. It hurts your pride. You're embarrassed. You know you're a better pitcher than that. Your arm isn't hurting. You feel good physically. You're out there throwing the ball, and I felt I threw the ball as good as I did the year before. I probably wasn't in some of the games mentally the way I should have been. I think I should have won a few more, concentrated a little bit harder. But, a pitcher's statistics represent the type of ball club he has behind him a lot, because the year before when I won 21, these guys played tremendous ball behind me. They hit when they needed to hit. They made the plays when they had to make the plays. And 77, it was just kind of the opposite. They didn't make the plays. They didn't hit when they had to hit. And, of course, 9 guys have to do that, including myself, and it was one of those years. It was embarrassing. You're better than that, and it does hurt your pride.
Let me ask you one final question. Many of us in professions get along to a point we wish maybe we'd gone into something else and we think, gee, I could have been this or that. You enjoy your profession as a professional baseball player?
I thought many times it's just what you're talking about there. A lot of times the grass looks greener on the other side of the fence, and it really doesn't make any difference what you're doing. I thought last year I began to think heavily on, gosh, there's many other ways of making a living and being with your family a little more rather than traveling all around the United States. But this year I'm saying I'm looking forward to playing baseball another 5 years. I enjoy it. I enjoy walking out on that mound every day. I don't think I've ever walked out there and said, hey, I'm unhappy. I would like to be doing something else. As far as pitching the game, I love it. There's other aspects of the game, the traveling, like I said, and a couple other things that probably aren't the most glamorous, but when you walk on that hill, it's always fun.
Jerry Koosman, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lindsay.
And for appearing on our pregame show, we'd like to present Jerry Koosman with an invitation from Rusty's Stove to enjoy dinner for two at Rusty's Restaurant on the corner of 73rd Street and 3rd Avenue. A restaurant featuring fine food and service and the home of Rusty's barbecued Canadian baby back ribs. This has been the Mets pregame show, brought to you by Manufacturers Hanover. At Manufacturers Hanover, it's banking the way you want it to be. The New York Mets won yesterday. They have a record of 1 win and no losses as they go against the Expos here this afternoon. I'm Lindsey Nelson, and the Mets-Montreal game is next on WMCA 570 on your dial.
And now a sensational message from the Coastal Auto Leasing Company. Your choice of car worries surely decreases when going to Coastal for rental or leases. You can listen to all the other dealers and their spiels, but Calco can give you the very best deals. They stand by their motto, Calco can do. Just ask any of the clients. They'll tell you it's true. You can get any American make or foreign job. Just pick up a phone and ask for Bob. They lease or rent. Get a tailor-made plan. Become a Coastal Auto Leasing satisfied man. Just call them at 201-447-4660. All they want is a chance to show. Their prices are good, the terms the best. That's why in North Jersey, they're larger than all the rest. So pick up a pen, get ready to go. Call area code 201-447-4660. Calco is conveniently located at 545 Maple Avenue, Ridgewood, New Jersey. Call Calco at 201-447-4660.
Say, the next time you're planning a picnic, don't forget to fill the cooler with ice-cold Budweiser. There's a perfect time to call on the king of beers, WMCA New York.
At Shea Stadium in New York, it's the New York Mets meeting the Montreal Expos. Today's game is brought to you by Anheuser-Busch, brewers of Budweiser, the king of beers. There's no better way to relax than with the easy taste of Budweiser. Getty Premium and Getty Unleaded Regular, the higher octane gasoline with a lower price. By Datsun. Nobody demands more from a Datsun than Datsun. We are driven. And by Dairy Lee. Brought to you by the good folks of Dairy Lee, famous over 50 years for fresh dairy products. All our sponsors are pleased to bring you Mets baseball on WMCA 570 on your dial. Well, hi, everybody. This is Bob Murphy with Ralph Kiner and Lindsey Nelson. Today, Game 2 of a 4-game series between the New York Mets and the Montreal Expos. The Mets won the season's opener here at Shea Stadium yesterday on superb pitching and timely hitting. The pitching by Jerry Koosman. The weather for today's game, bright sunshine at the moment, cool and breezy. The umpires are coming out toward home plate. And we'll have the starting lineups for you in a moment, right after this message.
How do you end up a winner in the savings game? Bring your savings to County Federal Savings and Loan. If you wanted to, you could bounce your bankroll from one big bank to another, from the Bowery to the Dime to Lincoln to Dry Dock, Greenwich, Dollar. Yet nobody pays higher interest than County Federal. Whether you keep your savings in a day-to-day account or on a short-term or long-term savings certificate, County Federal pays you the highest interest permitted by law. Your interest is credited monthly and compounded daily, so you get the highest return you can earn in a federally insured account. You can use your interest as you earn it each month, because you don't have to wait for the end of a quarter, or you can leave it in your account to earn more interest. Free money orders for depositors and free traveler's checks, too. There's a County Federal branch near you in Rockville Center, Valley Stream, Wantagh, Levittown, Comac, Coram, Medford, Astoria, Kew Garden Hills, Brooklyn, and Manhattan.
Last year, Rudy May won 18 games for the Baltimore Orioles. Here today, he makes his first start for the Expos. And for the New York Mets, it will be right-hander Nino Espinosa. Today's broadcast comes to you through the courtesy of the New York Mets and radio station WMCA, and is authorized under radio rights granted by the New York Mets solely for the entertainment of our listening audience. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the descriptions and accounts of this game without the express written consent of the New York Mets is prohibited. For the lineups and batting orders for today's game at Shea Stadium, let's check in with Ralph Kiner.
All right, Bob Murphy in for the New York Mets. The leadoff batter will be Lenny Randle, playing third base. Batting second, shortstop Tim Foli. Batting third, left fielder Steve Henderson. The fourth batter, first baseman Willie Montanez. Batting fifth, the right fielder Ken Henderson. Batting sixth and catching, John Stearns. Seventh batter, the center fielder Lee Mazzilli. Batting eighth, second baseman Doug Flynn. And the pitcher Nino Espinosa, batting in the ninth position. For the Montreal Expos, the leadoff batter will be Ellis Valentine, the right fielder. Batting second, second baseman Dave Cash. Batting third, center fielder Andre Dawson. Batting fourth and catching, Gary Carter. The fifth batter will be the first baseman Tony Perez. Batting sixth, left fielder Del Unser. Batting seventh, playing third base, Wayne Garrett. Batting eighth, shortstop Chris Speier. And the pitcher, Rudy May, batting in the ninth position. The umpires for the game today, Jerry Dale behind home plate, John McSherry, the umpire at first base, Paul Runge, the umpire at second, and Bob Engel, the umpire at third. Checking the scores of yesterday's ball games, the Mets defeated Montreal 3-1. Pittsburgh, behind John Candelaria, shut out the Chicago Cubs 1-0. San Diego beat San Francisco 3-2. The Dodgers battered Atlanta by a score of 13-4. Cincinnati defeated Houston 5-4, and the Cardinals beat Philadelphia 5-1. In the American League, Detroit topped Toronto 6-2. White Sox over Boston 6-5. Milwaukee toppled Baltimore 11-3. California edged Oakland 1-0, and Seattle beat Minnesota by a score of 6-3. The Mets in a tie for first place with a record of 1-0, tied with the Pittsburgh Pirates and the St. Louis Cardinals. Philadelphia, Montreal, and Chicago all 0-1. In the Western Division, the Cincinnati Reds lead with a record of 2-0. The Dodgers have a record of 1-0, as does San Diego. Atlanta 0-1, San Francisco 0-1, and Houston 0-2. In the American League, Milwaukee and Detroit 1-0. Toronto, Baltimore, and Boston 0-1. In the Western Division, California 1-0, the White Sox 1-0, Seattle 2-1, Minnesota 1-2. Kansas City has not played. They're scheduled to play the Yankees today. Texas has not played, and Oakland 0-1. So the sun breaking through the overcast. We've had off and on sunlight here at Shea Stadium. Wind blowing now from right field toward left field, and the New York Mets take the field. New York Mets taking the field, and the umpires taking their stations. And from Shea Stadium, our national anthem. Also the national anthem of Canada. anthems of Canada and the United States, and the Mets getting set for their second game with the Montreal Expos in international play. I believe we mentioned that the Yankees are playing Kansas City today in their first game. Actually, it's against the Texas Rangers. Well, tomorrow, a big day here at Shea Stadium, a doubleheader scheduled. Mets have scheduled their pitching to have Pat Zachary and Mike Brewer on the mound. Montreal with Wayne Twitchell and Ross Grimsley scheduled to pitch. And it'll be a special day here at Shea, Utility Bag Day. Everyone who buys a ticket and attends Sunday's doubleheader will receive a large blue and white vinyl utility bag. These are the same bags that were originally scheduled to be given away on last year's Fan Appreciation Day. And that game rained out, so the Mets have scheduled it for tomorrow, Utility Bag Day. After Montreal leaves town, the Chicago Cubs come in for 3 games. They'll be playing Monday afternoon, Tuesday afternoon, and Wednesday afternoon. All those games will be senior citizens' days. And all you senior citizens, 60 years of age and over, will be admitted to the ballpark for a 50-cent service charge. Game time, 2:05 for the Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday day games with the Chicago Cubs. First night game for the Mets will be in their next homestand. Powerful Pittsburgh Pirates will be coming in. They're known as the Thunder and Lightning Group. They'll be playing on Monday night the 24th, Tuesday night the 25th, and Wednesday night the 26th. Then the Mayor's Trophy game set for April 27th with the New York Yankees, and then the Cincinnati Reds for a weekend series Friday night the 28th, Saturday afternoon the 29th, and Sunday afternoon the 30th. So the next homestand, 2 tough ball clubs, 2 interesting ball clubs, the Pittsburgh Pirates and the Cincinnati Reds. Right now it's the Montreal Expos, and here for the play-by-play, Bob Murphy.
Thank you very much, Ralph Kiner, and hi, everybody. Nino Espinosa making his first start of a new season. 10-game winner last year into his wind-up the pitch. And a foul ball off the bat of Ellis Valentine, the right fielder. It comes back on the screen and out of play. One of the significant changes in the Montreal batting order this year has seen manager Dick Williams move Ellis Valentine from a power slot to the leadoff role. Valentine, a consistent hitter with good power. Right-hand batter in the pitch by Nino. Line drive into short right, a base hit. So Valentine has opened the ball game with a single off the end of the bat into short right field. Valentine was held in check in yesterday's game by Jerry Kuzman. So a leadoff single by Valentine, and it brings up second baseman David Cash. Cash, a 7-year veteran, got off to a good start in yesterday's game, getting 2 hits and 4 times at bat. Dave Cash, right-hand batter. Throw to first by Nino Espinosa is not in time. The game time temperature here at Shea is 49 degrees. Partly cloudy skies at the moment, bright sunshine. And the pitch on the way. Ground ball towards second. Flynn has it to Foley for 1 on to first, double play. Doug Flynn, the man with the lightning hand, starting the double play, fielding the ground ball and throwing to Tim Foley. So the Mets have turned their first double play of the new year, and the batter will be Andre Dawson, the center fielder. Dawson coming off of a strong rookie season that saw him win National League rookie honors. Dawson is a right-hand batter. He went 0 for 4 in yesterday's opening ball game. Espinosa's pitch on the way. Breaking ball outside. It's ball 1. In the second period, the Nassau Coliseum, the Islanders lead the New York Rangers 5-0. Swing and a miss. An Islander victory, and they will clinch the Patrick Division Championship. And the Islanders lead the Rangers 5-0 in the second period. Nino Espinosa with a count of 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch to Dawson. Inside, ball 2. It's 2-1. In the infield for Joe Torre's team, Willie Montanez at first base. Doug Flynn playing second. Tim Foli is short, and Lenny Randle is at third. John Stearns provides the target. Slider just outside, 3-1. In the outfield, Steve Henderson in left, Lee Mazzilli in center, and Ken Henderson is around at right. Norm Sherry on the coaching lines at third for Montreal, and former American League infielder Billy Gardner coaches first. And it just missed the outside corner. So check on the count. I believe that should be ball 4, and it is. Dawson did not realize that he was still staying at the plate. Nino Espinosa has walked Andre Dawson, and it will bring up Gary Carter. Carter, a young ball player with great talent. Hit 31 home runs last year. He and Johnny Bench both had 31. They led the National League catchers in home runs. Carter had a home run off Jerry Koosman in yesterday's game for the lone Montreal run. The wind is gusty. There goes the runner. Here's the pitch. Low. The throw by Stearns. The slide. Stolen base. Dawson getting a good jump on Espinosa. Stearns made a good throw, but simply not in time. He stole that one off the pitcher. So Andre Dawson has stolen second to go into scoring position. 1 ball and no strikes to Gary Carter. Carter 2 for 4, including a home run in yesterday's 3-1 win by the New York Mets. Time called by John Stearns. Stearns walking out to the mound to see Nino Espinosa. The veteran Tony Perez waiting on deck. Last year, Gary Carter hit .284. He had 31 homers and 84 runs batted in. It was his best year by far, and it was the first year that Carter has played for Montreal that he has been able to play the whole year without being hurt. 2 outs and 1 on. We're just underway at Shea Stadium. Hope you're going to join us. Now the pitch. And a high pop-up down the left field line. Could be hard to get to. Foley near the line is under it. The wind blows it. He comes back and makes the catch. Well, the wind will be a little tough. Flipping toward right field at the moment. It was caught in fair territory by Tim Foli. He ran all the way to the line, then had to retreat into fair territory. No runs, 1 hit and a man left. In the middle of inning 1, it's Shea. The Expos nothing. The Mets are coming up.
If you buy unleaded gasoline, you may have noticed that lead isn't the only thing missing. It's probably pretty low on performance, too. That's because most unleadeds just don't have a high enough octane rating to give you the performance you want, the performance you used to get from your regular. In fact, according to standards set by the American Society for Testing and Materials, the people who set gasoline standards used by the federal and state governments, very few unleaded gasolines have a high enough octane to be called regular. To help you choose between them, one usually sells for less. Getty Unleaded Regular gives you the clean running engine you expect from an unleaded, plus the octane performance you want. And you pay less than you would for most other major unleadeds. Now think a minute. Why settle for an unleaded gasoline that's below regular when you can get one that's regular? Getty Unleaded Regular. Once again, we've got what's best for your car.
The Montreal Expos have veteran left-hander Rudy May on the mound here this afternoon. Last year was the best of his major league career. He won 18 with the Baltimore Orioles. Montreal made a trade with Baltimore this past winter. The Orioles sent Don Stanhouse and Joe Kerrigan and outfielder Gary Renicky to Baltimore to get left-hander Rudy May. The acquisitions of Rudy May and Ross Grimsley, the Expos feel, will make them contenders. May was outstanding this spring. It's interesting, in each of his last 4 years, he has gotten better. 4 years ago, he was 14-12. Then 15-10 and 18-14. The year prior to that 14-12 year, he'd been 8-5. So Rudy May has had 4 straight winning years. Lifetime record, 106 wins and 116 losses. Lenny Randle leading off for the New York Mets. Lenny 0 for 4 in yesterday's opener. Tim Foli on deck, and then Steve Henderson. Rudy May into his motion, and the left-hander's first delivery inside and low. Lenny Randle had to jump back from the plate. In the infield for the Expos, Tony Perez playing first. Dave Cash at second. Chris Speier at short. Wayne Garrett is playing third. Inside of the knees, ball 2. Another ex-Met, Del Unser, is in left field. Andre Dawson in center, and Ellis Valentine is around at right. The catcher is Gary Carter. The 2-0 delivery, a little bit high, ball 3. For New York, Dal Maxwell coaching third, and Denny Summers coaching first. 3-0 delivery, inside, ball 4. Randle walks on 4 pitches. Gary Carter walks the ball back out. And it will bring to the plate Tim Foli. Tim went 0 for 4. Had a very good day in the field yesterday in the 3-1 win. Tim Foli, absent from New York the last 6 years. Back home with the ball club he signed with first. Now Rudy May a look toward first. And a strike called on the outside corner. Steve Henderson bats third. He'll be next. Then cleanup batter Willie Montanez. A lot of Major League Baseball today, and we'll keep you right on top of all the scores. Rudy May works from the stretch. Breaking ball, a strike on the outside corner. Good-looking pitch by Rudy May. Only one night National League game. That will be the Cardinals and Phillies in Philadelphia. The Cardinals, with 20-game winner Bob Forsch being successful, defeated the Phillies 5-1. The 2-strike delivery is popped up outside first base. Tony Perez goes over on the warning track and has room, makes the catch. In the National League today, the Chicago Cubs are playing in Pittsburgh. Yesterday's opener with perfect weather in Pittsburgh. 20-game winner John Candelaria beat 20-game winner Rick Russell by the score of 1-0. San Diego will be in San Francisco. The Padres came from behind to defeat the Giants yesterday and spoil the Giant home opener. And they used 39-year-old Gaylord Perry, 38-year-old Mickey Lolich, and 36-year-old Riley Fingers to do it. And they say this is a young man's game. Steve Henderson standing in against Rudy May. Throw to first, not in time. Randle getting back. Randle, of course, is always a threat to steal a base. He set a Mets club record with 33 stolen bases last year. Remember, if he steals, he'll be trying to do so against a veteran left-hander. Steve Henderson 1 for 3 at yesterday's game and a run scored. Here's the pitch on the way. Strike called at the knees of the outside corner. A doubleheader here at Shea tomorrow. Pat Zachary will pitch the first game and Mike Brewer in the second. For Mike, it will be his Major League debut. Tony Perez holding against Lenny Randle. Rudy May looks over, now delivers, and a foul fly. Well hit down the right field line and going out of play. Second period now, it is the Islanders 6 and the Rangers nothing. So it'll be a happy day for the Islanders. They'll be celebrating their first ever Patrick Division crown. Rudy May with a 2-strike count on young Steve Henderson. Steve hit .297 in last year, his first season in the National League. Here's the pitch on the way. Breaking ball just missed. He had Henderson fooled with that. For a young hitter, a veteran pitcher like Rudy May can be very baffling. One out and one on. We're in the bottom half of the first inning with no score. Willie Montanez on deck. Now the pitch on the way. Just missed the outside corner. Rudy May does not give you many good pitches to hit. Willie Montanez will be Joe Torre's cleanup batter day in and day out against right-handers and left-handers. Montanez, a left-hand hitter. Now as Randle takes his lead, the count is 2-2. He's running. Here's the pitch. Foul ball back toward the dugout. Randle was on his way, and with the count 2-2, and the ball in the strike zone, Henderson had to go for it. Dick Williams, the Montreal manager, has nominated a left-hander and a right-hander in the doubleheader tomorrow. The right-hander is Wayne Twitchell, and the left-hander is newcomer Ross Grimsley. Gresley has pitched against the Mets before when he was playing very well for Cincinnati. Randle leading away. 2-2 delivery. Randle goes, and he may get hung up. Throw to first base, and Randle is safe. He dove back in and tagged the bag with his hand and avoided the double play. Randle started, but he got a late start, and so when Henderson struck out, he came racing back to the bag, and it took quite an acrobatic maneuver to get him there. Rudy May has struck out Steve Henderson. With 2 men away and a runner on first, Willie Montanez coming up. Willie had 1 for 4. He had the honor of getting the first Mets base hit of the new season. A double down the left field line off Steve Rogers. Left-hander against left-hander. And a ground ball hit hard, taken by Tony Perez. He steps on the bag and the side retired. So Montanez pulled the ball, hit it sharply. But right to veteran first baseman Tony Perez. No runs, no hits, and a man left. At the end of 1 inning at Shea Stadium, Montreal nothing, New York nothing.
It's here, the new Datsun 510 station wagon with room for everything except improvement.
Nobody demands more from a Datsun than Datsun.
The 510 wagon is big car, comfortable, multi-level ventilation, side window defoggers, power front disc brakes, and room galore. Yet the Datsun 510 wagon is small where it counts, nimble steering, compact styling, at a Datsun price that saves. The perfectly sized new 510 wagon. Bigger than the small ones, smaller than the big ones. How did we do it? Hey, we are Datsun. We are driven.
Nobody demands more from a Datsun than Datsun. We are driven.
Come see the all-new Datsun 510 at your nearby Datsun dealer now.
In the National League this afternoon, the Cincinnati Reds lead Houston 2-1. George Foster, the home run champion, has hit his second of the year. He hit one last night. The Reds 2 and the Astros 1 in the third. Joaquin Andujar and Freddie Norman are the pitchers. The Dodgers lead Atlanta 1-0 at the end of 3. Tommy John against Dick Ruthven. Tony Perez takes a letter-high fastball, a strike call. Last night, the Dodgers spoiled the Braves home opener, blasting the Atlanta Braves 13-4. Don Sutton was the winning pitcher. And the pitch by Nino. Good hard slider on the outside corner, strike 2. Nothing yet of the Cubs and Pirates in Pittsburgh or the Padres and Giants in San Francisco. One night game in the National League. The Cardinals play at Philadelphia. 2-strike delivery, swing and a miss. He struck him out. Espinosa on 3 pitches fans Tony Perez. Now ex-Met Del Unser coming up. With Montreal last year, Del hit .273. Played in 113 ball games, 12 homers and 40 runs batted in. The regular left fielder, Warren Cromartie, has a hamstring pull. Dick Williams said before the ball game he felt Cromartie would be ready Tuesday night against the Phillies in Philadelphia. Nino siding in. Here's the pitch to Unser. It's high and away, ball 1. The Yankees have their opener later this afternoon against the Rangers in Texas. Ron Guidry and John Matlack will be the pitchers. The 1-0 delivery, just a little bit outside, ball 2, 2 balls, no strikes. The Toronto Blue Jays are in Detroit. That'll be Jerry Garvin and Jim Slayton. Mark the Bird Fidrich delighted the big Detroit crowd yesterday by beating Toronto. High, outside, ball 3. Espinosa getting behind on Del Unser, 3-0. The Red Sox play in Chicago. Dennis Eckersley against Francisco Barrios. Both pitchers won 14 games last year. Strike call is 3-1. He whipped it in knee high. The White Sox came from behind to win in the 9th inning over the Red Sox yesterday. Kansas City plays in Cleveland. Dennis Leonard and Wayne Garland are the pitchers. Leonard was a 20-game winner last year. Garland almost a 20-game loser. Foul ball coming back upstairs, no play. Wayne Garland, who signed that huge contract with Cleveland, lost 19 ball games. Baltimore will be in Milwaukee. Minnesota, a night game at Seattle. Oakland playing a night game at California. They played last night. Frank Tanana shut them out. California won 1-0. And a high fly over toward the left field line. Moving over is Henderson. He's under it, and he has it for the out. Let's pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
You know, any time is the right time for Budweiser. Give it a try the next time you and your friends have a night on the town. If you're looking for great taste, Budweiser is ready when you are. WMCA New York.
Bob Murphy with Ralph Kiner and Lindsey Nelson. 2 outs and nobody on. No score, top of the second. And Wayne Garrett bats against his old teammates. Changeup by Espinosa, over for a strike call. Wayne was having a good year with the Expos last summer when he was hurt in early August. Fastball high, 1 ball and 1 strike. He was hurt in early August and did not play the remainder of the year. The 1-1 delivery by Espinosa, high, outside ball, 2-1. Nino won 10 and lost 13 with the Mets last year, and he was the only Mets pitcher to win a game in Philadelphia. He beat the Phillies 1-0. The 2-1 delivery, curve inside, ball 3-1. So Nino working behind the hitters successfully so far in this inning. Mets playing Garrett as a pull hitter around to right, and a line drive over second into center field, a base hit. So Garrett, jumping on a 3-1 fastball, has singled to center. The second Montreal base hit. And the young veteran shortstop, Chris Speier, comes up. Speier was a much better hitter earlier in his career with the Giants, but he has been the last 3 years. Last year he wound up hitting .234. Chris is a right-hand batter. Speier 1 for 3 in yesterday's game, singled his first time up. Jerry Koosman pitched a remarkable opening day ball game. He retired 17 of the last 18 batters and the last 12 in a row. The only Montreal base runner over the last 5 was Gary Carter, who hit a home run. Now Nino Espinosa from the stretch triggers a fastball high, 1 ball and no strikes. Doubleheader tomorrow, the Mets and the Expos, and then 3 afternoon ball games on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday here at Shea against the Chicago Cubs. Cubs are in Pittsburgh right now. Low, outside, and again Espinosa is behind the hitter. Pitchers do not like to be consistently behind the hitters. It puts a lot of pressure on them. The one thing that Koosman did so well in yesterday's ball game, he stayed ahead of the hitters. The 2-0 delivery at a foul ball off to the right, veering over into the stands. Two balls and 1 strike on Chris Speier, the shortstop, batting 8th in the batting order. Lee Mazzilli kind of bouncing around in the outfield trying to keep warm. It's a little bit cool, about 49 degrees. The 2-1 delivery, missing high, ball 3. So Espinosa behind on Speier, 3-1. Pitcher Rudy May is the on-deck batter. 3-1 delivery, strike called on the outside corner. That was close. And now it is 3-2. 2 men away, Wayne Garrett, the runner on first, will be moving with the pitch. An automatic hit-and-run situation. There goes Garrett. Here's the pitch. Ground ball through the middle into center field, a base hit. So Garrett, who is running, will go from first to third. And the Expos have runners on first and third. Rudy May has been playing in the American League where the pitchers do not come to bat. And we really do not have any idea whether he's a good hitting pitcher or not. This might very well be the first time he's been to bat in about 4 years in a league game. Runners on first and third. Rudy May, left-handed all the way. He'll be batting left against Nino Espinosa. Now Nino with runners at the corners. And a fastball over, strike 1 call. That base hit by Speier was not hit hard, but he bounced it right through the middle. Next delivery, swing and a foul tip, and the count strike 2 on Rudy May. Now Espinosa will be trying hard to strike him out. Nino will average about 4, maybe 5 strikeouts a game. Mazzilli plays him to hit the ball to the opposite field. And the pitch on the way, a little bit low. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The New York Islanders are having a very enjoyable afternoon at the Coliseum. In the second period, they lead the New York Rangers 7-0. Pitching 1-2. Off the outside corner, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Nino has struggled with his control in this inning. The 2-2 delivery, swing and a miss, he struck him out. He just reached back and threw smoke and struck him out with a fastball. Second strikeout for Nino. No runs, 2 hits and 2 left. At the end of an inning and a half, Montreal nothing, New York nothing.
What's the big idea? The big idea is the Astoria idea. An idea designed to come through with many happy returns for you.
Astoria Federal has some big ideas for you, like 6-year savings certificates with an effective annual yield of 8.17%, the most the law allows. 4-year certificates yield 7.9%, 2.5 years 7.08%, and there are big ideas in 90-day and 1-year accounts. The law on time deposits requires a penalty on withdrawal before maturity, so Astoria has another big idea, ready cash savings for your everyday needs. Big ideas, that's Astoria Federal.
An idea designed to come through with many happy returns for you. The Astoria idea.
The home second inning here at Shea Stadium. It is the second game of the 1978 season. Joe Torre was very happy with the crisp performance by the New York Mets in their opening game yesterday. Torre believes that a vastly improved infield defense as well as an outfield defense will be a big help to the pitching staff, and that the pitching will probably be better than most of the experts have said. Time will certainly tell. Switch hitter Ken Henderson will lead off against Rudy May. Ken will bat right-handed against Rudy May. Here's 2 11-year veterans against each other. May into his windup in the pitch. And a breaking ball at the knees, strike 1 call. John Stearns on deck, and then Lee Mazzilli. And a fly ball, well hit to right field, but playable, moving toward the line, Ellis Valentine. And he makes the catch, 1 away. 1 change in the Mets batting order today. John Stearns moved ahead of Lee Mazzilli with Montreal pitching a left-hander. So now Stearns will take his turn at bat. John had 1 for 2 and a walk and a stolen base in the ballgame yesterday. The doubleheader tomorrow will probably see Ron Hodges in 1 game. Pitch to Stearns, high and away, ball 1. Stearns with a good eye at the plate. He'll look pitches over very carefully, and he doesn't help a pitcher out very often by going for a bad delivery. High and outside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. We have some cloud cover, and the sun is in, and then it's out. Right now it's out. And a high fly hit down the left field line toward the seats, and it's going into the seats out of play. Del Unser came all the way to the railing, but had no play. In the game today in Pittsburgh, Ray Burris for the Chicago Cubs, and Bert Blyleven, who hurled for the Rangers last year, is on for the Pirates. No score after 1 inning. Pirates feel with Blyleven to go with Candelaria, they have quite a pitching staff. Off the outside corner, 2-1. 3-1, beg your pardon. The Reds 2 and the Astros 1 at the end of 4. And the Dodgers 1, the Braves nothing at the end of 3. Pitching 3-1. Well hit, but foul down the left field line and back into the seats. One out and nobody on. We're in the second inning at Shea Stadium. Bargain baseball comes up very quickly. A doubleheader tomorrow here at Shea Stadium. 3-2 delivery, strike 3 call. Stearns was guessing fastball. He got a curveball. Second strikeout for Rudy May. And the hitter will be Lee Mazzilli. We had 2 for 4 and a long double to drive in a run in yesterday's 3-1 win. Mazzilli hitting right-handed against veteran Rudy May. For the Orioles last year, Rudy May won 18 and lost 14. The 33-year-old left-hander fires a fastball high and away, ball 1. He walked the first batter, Lenny Randle, in the first inning, but since then has retired 5 in a row. So it looks like he's going to be a tough pitcher to beat. The 1-0 delivery and a foul down the right field line, veering now over into the grandstand. 1 ball, 1 strike to Lee Mazzilli. Second baseman Doug Flynn will be up next. Montreal infield is Tony Perez, Dave Cash, Chris Speier, and Wayne Garrett. Del Unser, Andre Dawson, and Ellis Valentine of the outfield. Gary Carter is the catcher. Mazzilli swings and it's a high fly to center field. Easing back Andre Dawson, and he has it for the out. Hit the straightaway center field. No runs, no hits, and none left. At the end of 2 innings at Shea, no score.
Quasar has what you've been waiting for, the home videotape recorder that gives you up to 4 hours of uninterrupted recording. That means you can record any game, even if it runs to extra innings, and watch it when you want to. You don't have to miss your favorite TV shows anymore just because you can't be home. With Quasar's great time machine, you can tape any show on the air while you're watching it, while you're watching another channel, or even when your TV set is off. Just set the built-in electronic timer to turn your recorder on and off to tape programs when you're away from home. Quasar's 4-hour great time machine is the most advanced videotape recorder you can buy, with a remote control that lets you edit out unwanted material from the comfort of your chair, and a tape counter with memory, an audio overdub, and many other features. See Quasar's 4-hour great time machine now. For the name of your Quasar dealer, call 212-695-7310. That's 695-7310.
It will be the 3rd inning here at Shea Stadium, and here's a fellow who always gives you a good ball game, Ralph Kiner.
Thank you, Bob Murphy, and hi, everyone. Expos no runs, 3 hits. The Mets have not had a base hit, and Nino Espinosa set the pitch to Ellis Valentine for the second time. Valentine, after going 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts in yesterday's ball game against Jerry Kuzman, singled his first time up the single to right field. So Valentine, who batted .313 last year, has his first hit this year. He's now 1 for 5, batting .200. Valentine, a strong right-hand batter. Straightaway hitter, the Mets play him that way. And Espinosa's first pitch, a line drive to center field, and Valentine 2 for 2. Ball fielded by Lee Mazzilli, and Valentine rounds at first base and holds there. That'll bring up Dave Cash. Dave saw 1 pitch his first time up and hit a ground ball into a double play. Cash was 2 for 4 yesterday, so he's now 2 for 5. Last season, he batted .289. And Espinosa working from the set position. Go to first base, Valentine back easily. Valentine, a good base runner. He had 25 stolen bases in the '77 season. He has it all. And the pitch to the plate is taken low. Cash out in bunting position, taking the pitch for ball 1. Valentine has one of the best arms in baseball. He threw out Steve Henderson, who can fly, trying to score on a single from second base, a single by Lee Mazzilli in yesterday's ball game. There goes Valentine. The pitch is swung on and missed. The throw by Stearns is a good one, but it is a safe call by second base umpire Paul Runge, and the Mets don't like that call. Doug Flynn, who received the throw, arguing with Paul Runge about the call, but it goes as a stolen base. Second steal in the game for the Expos. Their first game when Dawson stole in the first inning with 2 men out. This time the stolen base coming with no one out. One ball, one strike. And the pitch. Slider that's just outside, 2-1. Cash did not have any home runs last year. He drove in 43. Right-hand batter bats from a closed stance. And he bounces one right back to the mound. Espinosa takes the one-hopper, looks the runner back at second base, throws to first base for the out. So Cash is unable to advance the runner at second base. And with 1 man out, the batter will be Andre Dawson. Dawson walked and stole second in the first inning, but was left there. Dawson 0 for 4 so far this year. Batted .282 last season and was the Rookie of the Year. Had 19 home runs, 65 RBIs. Right-hand batter. Again, the Mets play him straight away. Mazzilli is shallow center field. And here's the pitch. Slider again back to Espinosa. He has a runner trapped between third and second. Randle has it and now makes the tag. And Valentine is erased. Good play by Nino Espinosa. He took the one-hopper, looked to second base to see where the runner was, and Valentine was moving toward third. The throw went over to Randle at third base, and Randle, running the runner back toward second, made the tag. So the Expos lose a runner in scoring position, have one now at first base, and the batter will be Gary Carter. Dawson reaching first base on the fielder's choice. Carter, a right-hand batter, outstanding power, and the first pitch swung on a miss, strike one. Carter hit a high, towering pop-up that was caught by the shortstop Tim Foli his first time up. In yesterday's ball game, Carter had a double and a home run. Last year, he had 31 home runs and tied Johnny Bench for the most home runs by a catcher in the National League. 1 strike count, throw to first base, and Dawson dives back in safely. Carter out of the batter's box, now gets back in. Nino leans over, reads the signs, goes to the set position. And here's the pitch, and it's a pitch out, but nothing on. 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, Espinosa to the set position, and again a pitch out, and again nothing on. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 pitch outs in a row called by John Stearns. Dawson had 21 stolen bases last season. Now he fakes it going, and a curveball is low and outside. Ball 3. 3 balls and 1 strike. Once again, Dawson running, and the pitch is a called strike. The throw is in the dirt, and Dawson has his second stolen base of the ball game. Andre Dawson beating the throw this time, and the throw had to be handled out of the dirt by Doug Flynn, and he just knocked it down. So once again, the Expos with a runner in scoring position. No score. 2 men out, top of the third. And Espinosa's pitch. It is outside, and Carter walks. Carter takes off for first base on the walk, as does Pete Rose. He tears down there. So now runners at first and second and 2 men out. And the batter coming up is Tony Perez. Tony was struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. So again, as he has in every inning, Espinosa working under pressure with runners on base. And the pitch to Perez is taken low. Breaking ball down just about on the outside corner, but below the knees for ball 1. And the pitch back is fouled back into the stands, out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Perez has been the top run-batted-in man over the last 11 years in the entire major leagues. He has driven in more runs than any active player. So he is a tough man in the clutch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Now the pitch by Espinosa. Check swing foul ball and a good pitch. Ball fouled into the stands and caught by a young Met fan. Perez has driven in 90 or more runs in 11 consecutive seasons. The record is 13, held by Stan Musial. One and 2 the count. Espinosa set to work. Here's the pitch. Fastball high and tight. So the count now 2 balls and 2 strikes. Turning point of yesterday's ball game was in the first inning when Perez was struck out by Jerry Koosman with runners on base. Mets winning 3-1. Now the pitch. Again the high tight fastball. So the count goes to 3 and 2, and with 2 men out, the runners will be moving with the pitch. Yesterday's ball game, Montreal had runners at second and third and 2 men out when Koosman struck out Perez. Runners go, and the 3-2 pitch fouled away. Good pitch by Espinosa. Slider on the outside corner. Perez just did get the bat on the ball to foul it off. So the runners return. Dawson at second base and Carter at first. And the pitch. Outside ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Bases are loaded, and the batter coming up is Del Unser. Unser flied out to the left fielder his first time up. Montreal in 2 2/3 innings has had 7 base runners, and Rube Walker, the pitching coach of the Mets, out to the mound to talk to Nino Espinosa. No action in the bullpen. Now Rube back to the bench, and John Stearns, who is also out to the mound, is coming back to his position behind home plate to set out the sign. Unser, a left-hand batter, batted .273 last year for Montreal with 12 home runs and 40 runs batted in. And Espinosa working from the windup, and the first pitch to Unser. Line drive at Flynn, a diving catch in the side, retire. Doug Flynn handling that vicious line drive with a diving catch, and no runs in the inning on 1 hit, 2 walks, and 3 men left on base. And the score at the end of 2.5 innings, it is the Montreal Expos nothing and the New York Mets nothing. Well, the New York Mets have a big doubleheader coming your way tomorrow afternoon, and along with it, a big giveaway. It will be utility bag day here tomorrow afternoon, game time at 1:05. And everyone buying the ticket and attending the Sunday doubleheader against the Montreal Expos will receive an all-purpose vinyl utility bag. So don't forget, fans, that the utility bag will be given to everyone buying a ticket and attending the ball game. It was to be given away on Fan Appreciation Day last year on the last day of the year, but that game was rained out, so the Mets have rescheduled it for the doubleheader tomorrow. The Mets have selected their pitching for that doubleheader tomorrow. It will be Pat Zachary and Mike Brewer. And the Montreal Expos will be pitching Wayne Twitchell and Ross Grimsley. Then after Montreal leaves town, it'll be the Chicago Cubs for 3 games. All-day games starting at 2:05 on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoon. And those 3-day games have been designated as Senior Citizens Days. And all you senior citizens 60 years of age and over will be admitted to the ballpark for a 50-cent service charge. So a lot of opening series baseball to come your way tomorrow. First doubleheader of the year. And at least 18 innings of exciting baseball. Hope you can be here. Get your utility bag and also see the New York Mets in action against the Montreal Expos. We're going to the bottom of the third, no score, and the leadoff batter for the Mets, Doug Flynn. Flynn with that spectacular diving catch of a vicious line drive hit by Del Unser. And it came at the right time for the Mets. The bases were loaded for the final out of the inning. First pitch to Flynn, topped out toward the shortstop, Chris Speier. He comes in to field it, throws to first base for the out. Flynn had a big run batted in yesterday's ball game. It was the gamer. And in his first time up in this game, he has grounded out. One pitch and one away. Rudy May in the mound for the Montreal Expos, and now he'll be working to Nino Espinosa. Nino, a right-hand batter and not a bad hitting pitcher. Mets have had one base runner, and that was Lenny Randle, who walked on 4 pitches, the first 4 of the ballgame by Rudy May. And May with the first pitch, fastball at the knees, a called strike. Rudy May, 18-14 last year for Baltimore. He's won 106 and lost 116 in his major league career. And his next delivery is inside, 1 ball and 1 strike. May's 18 wins last year, his highest total. His previous high had been 15. A swing and a ball fouled, and it's 1-2. Spent 5 years with the California Angels. Started the 1974 season with California and was then traded to the Yankees. He was 8-5 with the Yankees in 74, 14-12 in 75. And in 76, he started the year with the Yankees and was traded to Baltimore, where he was 15-10. The next pitch is bounced back to the mound. A 1-hopper for Rudy May is thrown to first base for the out. Now with 2 men out, Lenny Randle batting for the second time. Randle looking for his first base hit of the year. He's 0 for 4. May was originally signed by the Minnesota Twins in 1963, but was selected by the White Sox in the first-year player draft. From Chicago, he was traded to the Phillies, and the Phillies dealt him on to the Angels. He was in a deal that saw Bo Belinsky go from the Angels to the Phillies. And the first pitch, a ball. Bo Belinsky, he was some character in baseball. Pitched a no-hitter in the major leagues, but that was about it. A 1-0 pitch. Outside ball 2. 2 balls and no strikes. The last report we had on Belinsky was that he was living in Hawaii. And the 2-0 pitch. High and tight, ball 3, and Lenny Randle has yet to see a strike. First time up, he walked on 4 pitches. He's now 3-0 on this turn to the plate. And the 3-0 pitch. In there, a called strike. Belinsky was with the Angels, and they trained in Palm Springs, California, which is an outstanding resort area, as you well know. And he had the habit of having some late hours in his baseball career. There's ball 4, and Randle walks. Randle has been on twice now on walks. The only base runner for the Mets, and it brings up Tim Foli. Had a good baseball friend of mine run into Belinsky late at night at the Racket Club in Palm Springs, which was then run and owned by a great movie actor, Charlie Farrell. And Rudy May from the set position. Randle is running, and the pitch is a curveball. Picked up by Carter. The throw to second base is not in time, and Randle has his first stolen base of the year. He set a club record last year with 33. Randle picking the right pitch and getting his first stolen base of the season. Pitch was down in the dirt and a ball to Tim Foli. When this friend of mine went up to Bo Belinsky, he said, "You're down here to get in shape. It's spring training. How come you're up so late? What are you going to do when you get to the 7th inning of a ball game and you need that extra energy?" Belinsky said to him, "Who says you have to go more than 7 innings?" Swing by Foli, and it's missed, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Foli steps out of the batter's box, gets back in. Fouled out his first time up. Tim is 0 for 5 so far this year. Rudy May working with a runner in scoring position for the first time in the ball game. There is no score. 2 men out, bottom half of the third. And the pitch back to Tim Foli. A curveball down low. 2 balls, 1 strike. Rudy May throwing an awful lot of curveballs in this game. Two and 1 the count. Randle sliding in the second base, went in with a belly slide. May leans over, reads the signs, nods yes, goes to the set, checks Randle once, and now a throw to second base, taken by Cash as he moved over to take the throw on the bag. Play was not close as Randle got back in standing up. So again, May reading the signs. Now to the set. Randle a short lead. The 2-1 pitch. Swung on and missed. 2-2. Fastball. And no contact. We'll get a look at another pitcher acquired by Montreal in tomorrow's doubleheader from Baltimore. Ross Grimsley. Both May and Grimsley playing out their option. 2 balls, 2 strikes. May ready, and here's the pitch. Foley pops it up. Ball on the first base side. Tony Perez is under it, and he makes the catch, and that retires the side. No runs and no hits. A walk and a man left at second, and the score at the end of 3. It's the Expos nothing and the Mets nothing.
When do you say Budweiser? Whenever the moment is right for a great beer. When do you say Budweiser? Whenever the good times are moving to right here. After the work is done, while you're still having fun, anytime's the right time to say it. When do you say Budweiser? Bud the beer for any time at all. When you say Budweiser, the #1 beer is what you'll be drinking after the work is done. While you're still having fun, the king of beers is waiting for your call. When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
It's the top of the 4th inning, and the Expos have not scored, and the Mets have not scored. Pitching duel between Nino Espinosa and Rudy May. Expos have had 4 hits, and Espinosa has been in trouble in every inning. Now he'll be working to Wayne Garrett as his first batter. Garrett batting for the second time. His first time up in a 3-1 fastball. Wayne singled to center field. Garrett playing third base and batting in the 7th batting position. And the first pitch, a fastball too low for a ball. In the 3rd inning, the bases were loaded when Unser lined to the second baseman Flynn. Garrett looks low again. It's 1 ball and now 2. On the message board, a warm Mets welcome to our old friends from Manufacturers Hanover Trust Company. Spending the day at Shea with us. About 17,000 here from Manufacturers. And again low, it's ball 3. 3 balls, no strikes. The on-deck batter, Chris Speier, batting 8th. And the 3-0 pitch. A called strike 3-1. Garrett has a good eye. Last year he had to have a knee operation, and he says he's about 80% back. He was having a good year for Montreal last year. The 3-1 pitch, ball 4, and Garrett walked. Garrett batted .270 for Montreal. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
I know you want to treat the beer drinkers you know to the very best, so the next time you have guests, make sure they have plenty of cold Budweiser on hand. WMCA, New York.
Ralph Kiner along with Bob Murphy and Lindsey Nelson from Shea Stadium, no score. Montreal with a runner at first, no one out, and Chris Speier the batter. Happy to say that we have our statistician Arthur Friedman back with us again. Looks like he's been watching hockey all winter long. Throw to first base, Garrett back easily. And the pitch to the plate. Speier takes a called strike. Artie Friedman has a book coming out. What's the name of it? It's called The World of Sports Statistics. Swinging a fastball in the miss. Strike two. Artie, well, there's no question about the way we think, the best statistician in the game. Two-strike count. Garrett at first. Here's his pitch to Speier. Hit off the hands. Blooped over first base. It'll be a base hit. Ball tracked down by Montanez as he goes back to pick it up in the outfield grass. And on the bloop base hit by Chris Speier, Garrett moves down to second. So runners at first and second and no one out. And the pitcher, Rudy May, coming up. That ball was really blooped. Hit right off the hands and just lobbed over the head of Montanez, who actually got back to it and picked it up just about 10 feet back in the outfield grass. It was hit that softly. So Speier now 2 for 2, and runners at first and second with no one out, and Rudy May stepping in. And May in an obvious bunt situation, and the Mets have a consultation at the mound. Montreal now has had 5 hits. They've received a total of 4 walks, so they've had 9 base runners as they bat here in the 4th inning. Still no score. Mets in looking for the sacrifice. And here's the pitch. It is bunted foul back into the stand, strike one. May, coming over from the American League, has not been a hitter as they use the DH rule over there. First time up, he struck out in a 2-2 fastball, and he bunts the ball well right out in front of the plate. It's picked up by Espinosa. The throw to first base to Doug Flynn is in plenty of time, and on the sacrifice, the runners move up. Wayne Garrett over to third, Chris Speier down to second, and that'll bring up Ellis Valentine, who is 2 for 2. Valentine singled to right in the first inning and singled to center in the third. He's 2 for 6 for the year, having gone 0 for 4 yesterday against Jerry Kuzman. Mets are going to play their infield back with runners at second and third. And the first pitch to Valentine, a check swing and foul back into the stand. Good slider by Espinosa. Valentine tried to hold up, but got his bat in the ball and fouled it off. 1 strike count. Valentine batting for the 3rd time here in the 4th. And the next pitch is hit high in the air to shallow right field. Henderson moving up. He's fairly shallow. Tagged up at third is Garrett. Henderson makes the catch. Garrett comes down the line and holds as Henderson throws in perfectly. So Garrett held up by Norm Sherry, the third base coach, and wisely so. Henderson has a reputation for a good throwing arm, and he made a good throw. That's Ken Henderson, the right fielder for the Mets. Now with 2 men out, the batter will be Dave Cash. Dave is 0 for 2. Cash, a tough man to strike out. 2 for 6 so far this year. And Espinosa working from the set position, and the first pitch is hit to left center field. It might be trouble. Going back is Mazzilli. He can't get to it. It'll go for extra bases. 1 hop off of the wall. 2 runners score. Cash is trying for third, and the throw by Foley is not to third base, but in toward home, and Cash ends up with a triple. So the Expos take the lead, 2-0, as Cash gets his first 2 RBIs of the year, a 1-hot double off the top of the wall at the 396 mark. So Espinosa, living dangerously through the first 3 innings, has reached for 2 runs here in the 4th, and the batter will be Andre Dawson. Dawson has walked. He also is safe on a fielder's choice, so he is 0 for 1. And Espinosa now working to the plate, and the first pitch a called strike. And the right-hander back, and the pitch is inside. It moves Dawson back. Fastball high and tight. 1 ball and 1 strike. And the right-hander's next pitch. Fastball again inside. Pitch right around the letters. 2 balls and 1 strike. And again, at 2-1, the pitch to the plate, hit hard to center field, a base hit. Cash comes in to score. The ball bobbled by Mazzilli, but quickly picked up. The throw-in stops Dawson at first base, and Dawson has his first base hit of the year and his first run batted in. That makes it a 3-0 ball game and brings up Gary Carter. Carter has walked. He also has popped up to the shortstop, Tim Foli. And Espinosa to the set position. Here's the pitch, and the fastball is too low for a ball. Carter was 2 for 4 yesterday with a double and a home run. Strong right-hand batter. And the next pitch. Fastball too high, 2 balls, no strikes. Espinosa has given up 7 hits and walked 4, so Montreal has had 11 base runners, and they have scored 3. The next delivery, fastball line to left field. Henderson moving back, jumps and drops the ball in and out of the glove. The throw-in is over the head of Foley. It is cut off by Flynn right at the third base area. And going to third base and holding there is Andre Dawson. Line drive to left. Henderson misjudged it slightly, moved back, jumped for it, got his glove on it, but could not hold on to it. It is being scored a 2-base error, and of course no runs batted in, as no one scored, and no one would be credited with an RBI if they had scored. Now Rube Walker out to the mound again to talk to Nino Espinosa. And action just starting up in the bullpen. Bob Myrick running out to get ready to throw. Runners at second and third, still 2 men out, and the batter's Tony Perez, who has struck out and walked. Left-hander Bob Myrick starting to throw in the bullpen. Also right-hander Butch Metzger warming up. And Tony Perez to the plate, and the first pitch, a slider in the outside corner, called strike. And at 1 strike, the pitch back to Perez, swung on and missed. Perez going for a fastball over the outside corner, just above the knees. It's strike 2. And now the 2-strike pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and missed, and Perez is struck out with a high inside fastball. That retires the side. 3rd strikeout for Nino Espinosa, but in the inning he was reached for 3 runs. On 3 hits, there was 1 error, and 2 men were left in scoring position. And the score at the end of 3.5 innings, the Expos 3 and the Mets nothing.
It's here, the new Datsun 510 station wagon with room for everything except improvement.
Nobody demands more from a Datsun than Datsun.
The 510 wagon is big car, comfortable, multi-level ventilation, side window defoggers, power front disc brakes, and room galore. Yet the Datsun 510 wagon is small where it counts, nimble steering, compact styling, at a Datsun price that saves. The perfectly sized new 510 wagon. Bigger than the small ones, smaller than the big ones. How did we do it? Hey, we are Datsun. We are driven.
Nobody demands more from a Datsun than Datsun. We are driven.
Come see the all-new Datsun 510 at your nearby Datsun dealer now.
going now to the bottom of the fourth. The Expos leading 3-0 with 3 in the top of the fourth inning. And for the Mets, the leadoff batter will be Steve Henderson. Well, the Cubs were shut out 1-0 by John Candelaria of the Pittsburgh Pirates yesterday. After 2 today, no score. Cubs 0, Pittsburgh 0. Ray Burris on the mound for Chicago. He was 14-16 last year. Bert Blyleven pitching his first game for the Pirates, coming from the Texas Rangers with a record of 14-12. At the end of 6 1/2 innings, Cincinnati 2, Houston 1. Home run by George Foster, his second of the year. Joaquin Andujar pitching for Houston, had a record of 11-8 last year. Fred Norman going for the Reds. He was 14-13 last year. At the end of 6, the Dodgers 4, Atlanta 1. Tommy John 20-7 last year on the mound for the Dodgers. Dick Ruthven 7-13 pitching for Atlanta. Also scheduled St. Louis against Philadelphia at night. San Diego against San Francisco. And there's a drive to deep left center field by Steve Henderson. It's going, and it is gone. Goodbye. Steve Henderson with his first home run of the year. Steve Henderson, who hit 12 home runs last year, gets his first hit this year, and that's the first hit of the game off of Rudy May. And it was a drive to deep left center field over the 396 mark. So the Mets are on the scoreboard in this ball game. Expos leading 3-1, and the batter coming up, Willie Montanez. Willie grounded out his first time up. And the first pitch, a curveball over at the knees, a called strike. Mets get their first home run of the year as Steve Henderson, who had struck out his first time up, came back, put it out of the ballpark. A ball topped out foul. Ball picked up by Carter, but it was in foul territory. So it's a strike 2 count. Mets had only 2 base runners. Both times that Randle was up, he walked before the base hit by Steve Henderson. Montanez out of the batter's box, now gets back in. 1 for 3 yesterday. Double down the left field side. Montanez scored the first run of the season for the Mets yesterday. After his double, he was doubled in by Ken Henderson. And a pitch for a ball. It's 1-2. Rudy May, a left-hander, going for the Expos. Curveball swung on and missed, and Montanez is struck out. Third strikeout for May. And it brings up Ken Henderson, who flied out to right field his first time up. Henderson batting from the right-hand side against the left-hander. And Rudy May with his first pitch. Fastball below the knees, ball 1. Butch Metzger is still throwing in the bullpen along with Bob Myrick. 1-0 pitch on the way. It's inside. 2 balls, no strike. Henderson got the first run driven in by a Met this year in yesterday's ball game. 2-0 pitch. Grounded foul. Ken Henderson joined the Mets as the final part of the John Matlack deal. He was the player to be named later, and after he was signed by Texas, he was then moved on to the New York Mets in spring training. 2-1 pitch to the right-hand batter, and it's outside. Fastball 3-1. Henderson checks to see whether or not he'll be hitting. The on-deck batter is John Stearns, and the 3-1 pitch on the way. It's outside, ball 4. Third walk by Rudy May puts a runner on with 1 man out and brings a potential time run to the plate, and it's John Stearns coming up. John was struck out looking at a curve his first time up. Stearns 1 for 2 yesterday. And May goes to the set position. His pitch to the plate, curveball, too low, and it's ball 1. shakes off the first set of signs. Now it takes the second. And the throw to first base moves Henderson back. Again, May sets up, and this time the pitch to the plate, a fastball on the inside corner above the knees. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the American League, the Yankees are scheduled against Texas. In the 1.5, Toronto 3, Detroit 1. Jerry Garvin, 10-18 last year against Jim Slayton, 10-14 last year. Boston against the White Sox in Chicago. Dennis Eckersley making his debut for the Boston Red Sox. Next pitch, a fastball, foul, back out of play, 1-2. Eckersley coming to the Red Sox, had a record of 14-13 for Cleveland last year. Francisco Barrios pitching for the White Sox. He was 14-7 last season. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now the pitch. Breaking ball outside. It's 2-2. At the end of 3, Cleveland 6, Kansas City 4. Dennis Leonard started for Kansas City. He won 20 and lost 12 last year. One of 3 20-game winners in the American League. Wayne Garland 13-19 pitching for Cleveland. Now May's 2-2 pitch. It is hit out to left field. Moving back to left fielder Del Unser is near the warning track, but there, and he makes the catch. Henderson moving down to second, now comes back to first, and 2 men away. And that'll bring up Lee Mazzilli. In that Kansas City-Cleveland game, Bartek had a home run in the second with no one on. McRae a home run in the second with 1 on. Ron Pruitt a home run in the second with no one on. And Paul Dade a home run in the second with no one on. All getting their first of the year. Also scheduled Baltimore against Milwaukee, Minnesota against Seattle at night, and Oakland against California at night. Mazzilli flied to center his first time up. And the first pitch by May is hit in the air, foul. The ball drifting back into the stands, out of play. Mazzilli was 2 for 4 yesterday. Drove in a run with a long double to left center field, batting left-handed. This game, he is 0 for 1, so he's 2 for 5 so far. Well, there's nothing better than getting off to a good start in this regular season. Takes the pressure off. 1 strike, the count to Lee Mazzilli. And May's pitch, sinking fastball. 1 ball, 1 strike. They say that in the course of a year, you're going to hit whatever you're supposed to hit. But it sure is a lot easier if you're going to hit 280 to get off to a good start than to get off to a lousy one. Because you're never that sure you're going to reach your potential level. 1-1 pitch to Mazzilli. Popped up. Ball out to shallow center field. Moving up in the ball is Dawson. He has a lot of time to get under it. He does, and he makes the catch and that retires aside. But the Mets score 1 on the home run by Steve Henderson. 1 man left on base. And the score at the end of 4 is Bob Murphy comes back in for the play-by-play. It is the Montreal Expos 3 and the New York Mets 1.
The top of the 5th inning now at Shea Stadium. For the Montreal Expos, former Met Del Unser will lead off against Nino Espinosa. Nino has been wild here today, and the game is a real struggle for him. Not only has Nino walked 4 Montreal batters, but he's consistently been pitching behind the count of the hitters. Montreal broke through, getting 3 runs in the 4th inning. Here's the windup by Nino, the pitch on the way. Fastball, a strike call to the outside corner. So he jumps out in front on Del Unser. Wayne Garrett is on deck, and then Chris Speier. This is 6, 7, and 8 in the batting order. At a curve, popped up. In foul territory, behind the plate, Stearns comes back, and the ball breaks off his glove. Should have been caught. John Stearns came back near the field box railing, had it in his glove just for a moment, and it popped out. So we'll wait for the official scoring. It might well be an error for prolonging the time at bat. Del Unser gets a life at the plate, and the count is 2 strikes. Espinosa into his motion, and a fastball low outside. It will be an error charged to John Stearns for prolonging the turn at bat. Pitching 1-2. Inside, that moves the hitter off the plate. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Del Unser. Montreal 3 runs on 7 hits. New York 1 run, only 1 hit. A home run by Steve Henderson. The 2-2 delivery. Breaking ball inside, ball 3. So Nino had a 2-strike advantage to Unser, and now it's a full count of 3-2. Nino should be on or near the top of his game because he pitches winter baseball. And a high fly to left center field. Henderson calling as he comes over in left center, and he has it for the out. So the error does not hurt. One out and nobody on. Now here's the veteran, Wayne Garrett. Wayne's brother, Adrian, is a sensation playing baseball in Japan. He's playing Major League Baseball in Japan at Hiroshima, and he had home runs in each of his first 4 ball games this year. Next pitch on the way, swinging at him is strike 2. Garrett in the game today has singled and reached on a walk. Makes his home near Knoxville, Tennessee. Espinosa sighting in, and a fastball inside high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Doubleheader tomorrow. First game at 5 after 1 here at Shea Stadium, and it's utility bag day. Fastball off the inside corner. Stearns thought they had him struck out. 1 out, nobody on. We're playing in the top of the 5th. Montreal leading by a score of 3-1. In comes the pitch to Garrett. Wide, ball 3. So again, Espinosa had the batter 2 strikes. Now he has a full count of 3-2. So Nino's throwing a lot of pitches in this game. High foul, wafted back upstairs, no play. Mets have an unusual schedule with Montreal this year. Generally, against Eastern Division teams, you visit each city 3 times. The Mets go to Montreal 4 times this year. Drive in the air to left field. Henderson with an easy play waiting. And he has it for the out. So Garrett out on a fly to left. And let's pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
After a hard day on the job, sit back and relax with Budweiser. You know, that's a perfect way to end a hectic day. Just you and the king of beers. WMCA, New York.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner. 2 outs, nobody on. The hitter is Chris Speier of the Expos. And a breaking ball, a strike called on the outside corner. Things have been better for Nino in this inning. Each of the 3 batters that has come to the plate, he has gotten out in front on. Fastball missing the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. Mets do not figure that Speier will pull the ball. Mazzilli plays him over to right center. And a fastball on the outside corner. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Nino Espinosa, talented young right-hander from the Dominican Republic. Nino is now 24 years old. Last year with the Mets, he won 10 and lost 13 in what was really his first full season. Pitching 1-2. Slider missing, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nino has never beaten Montreal. Lifetime record against the Expos. He has not won, he's lost twice. And again he misses outside, it's 3-2. So he's gone 3-2 on each of the 3 hitters to bat. Montreal pitcher Rudy May will be up next. 3-2 delivery and a base hit through the hole into right field. Speier will take the turn as Ken Henderson plays the ball back in. And the veteran shortstop, Chris Speier, now has 3 for 3. Rudy May will be coming up. Rudy has been over in the American League where they've had the DH the last 4 years. And I doubt seriously he's had a time at bat in the last 4 years until today. In the 3rd period at the Nassau Coliseum, the New York Islanders lead the New York Rangers 7-1 as they near their first Patrick Division crown. 2 outs and 1 on, and Rudy May is the batter. Rudy May has been struck out, and he successfully sacrificed. And a fly ball, well hit to right field. Ken Henderson running back and toward the lane, and he makes the catch. That ball well hit by Rudy May. And Henderson, after a long run, pulled it down near the line. No runs, 1 hit and a man left. So we have come halfway at the end of 4.5 innings. Montreal 3, New York 1.
Today, most car mileage numbers are a lot of gas. At Datsun, our gas numbers are a lot of miles. Example, our Datsun V210GX is rated highest on the highway, 48 miles per gallon, 36 city with optional 5-speed stick. These are EPA estimates. Your mileage may differ. But as ratings go, you'd have to go pretty far to come close to the V210GX. For while it uses less gas, it gives you more car. Reclining bucket seats, power front disc brakes, radial tires, transistorized ignition, and more. All standard. All built to the greatest standard of all. Quality. Because at Datsun, we are driven to give you more years per car.
Of the 5th inning, Joe Torre has Butch Metzger warming up in the Mets bullpen. Doug Flynn will lead off, and then Nino Espinosa is scheduled to bat. He will not take his batting turn. Joel Youngblood has come out on deck to bat for Nino Espinosa. Nino, who has not had his control here today, has thrown a lot of pitches. So this will be all today for Nino Espinosa. Nino turned in a very gritty performance. He was wild, and he had to work under a lot of pressure. Doug Flynn looks at a Rudy May fastball, strike 1. For a starting pitcher, it's that day when you don't have that good control or real good stuff that you really have to work hard. Rudy May fires, and a ground ball bounced to shortstop, fielded by Speier. And the long throw, safe! The throw pulled Perez off the bag. Wide throw by Chris Speier pulled Tony Perez off the bag. So Doug Flynn reaches safely, and now Joel Youngblood will be a pinch hitter. We'll wait for the official scoring. That might very well be a throwing error, and it will. Doug Flynn may have been spiked on the play at first base. Tom McKenna and Joe Torre have come out to first base to see Doug Flynn. He may have been stepped on as he went over the bag. Tony Perez had to fly through the air to handle the wide throw. Now apparently he is all right. Tom McKenna is coming back to the dugout. The pinch hitter is Joel Youngblood. Doug Flynn reaching safely on a throwing error by shortstop Speier. Handyman Joel Youngblood, right-hand hitter. Standing in against Rudy May. The veteran left-hander delivers. Curve inside and low, ball 1. Baseball crowd is Shea much alive now as they start to cry, "Let's go Mets." The pitch to Youngblood, a swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. We will see Butch Metzger for the first time when Montreal bats in the 6th inning. 2 years ago, Butch Metzger and Pat Zachary were co-rookies of the year. The 1-1 delivery. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Joel Youngblood. Lenny Randle on deck, and then Tim Foli. Mets trail by a score of 3-1 as they hit in the last half of the 5th inning. Tony Perez holding against the base runner, Doug Flynn. The infield and the outfield straight away. Pitching 1 and 2. Off the outside corner as Youngblood held on his swing. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. A little swirl of dust causes Youngblood to call time and get out for a moment. Now he's ready. The 2-2 delivery and a fly ball hit to left field fairly deep. Back goes Unser on the warning track. He makes the catch. Well hit by Joel Youngblood. And Del Unser, a good outfielder, ran to the warning track where he reached over his head and made a one-hand catch. One out and one on, the top of the batting order for New York and Len Randle. Randle has been to bat twice, both times has drawn a walk. Last time of the 3rd inning, he stole second. At this point in the game, the Mets have only 1 hit. And that a home run by Steve Henderson. 1 out and 1 on. Rudy May around with the arm, a swing and a miss, strike 1. Rudy May has walked 3 and struck out 3. Allowed 1 run and 1 base hit. He checks the runner at first, and the pitch breaks low to Lenny Randle. 1 ball and 1 strike. Switch hitter Lenny Randle batting right against Rudy May. The Expos have the infield pitch toward the middle. And a check swing foul ball rolling into the Mets dugout behind first base. Butch Metzger, a young right-hander, acquired from the St. Louis Cardinals, will be on to hurl in the 6th inning. Now May up in pitching position. The 1-2 delivery and a half-swing foul coming back into the upper deck. That will be out of play. Count remaining at 1-2 on Lenny Randle. Lenny Randle plays the game of baseball with a throttle wide open. The 1-2 delivery and a slow ground ball down the 3rd base line. Tough play for Garrett. Here's the throw, and it's in time for the out. Randle tumbles over and over, reaches back as though he may have hurt his back, but apparently is all right. And Tony Perez is safe getting up. And now it looks like John McSherry. No, he was just calling timeout, I believe. Both Randle and Perez are shaken up. Randle going all out, trying to beat the play at first base, was out. And both Tony Perez and Lenny Randle have been shaken up. So Dick Williams and the Expos gather around Tony Perez. Joe Torre and the Mets gather around Lenny Randle. Randle hit a slow roller down the 3rd baseline, and on a very close play, just was out, but collided with first baseman Tony Perez. And both are limping. Now they have cleared the field, and action resumes, and the batter is Tim Foli. Doug Flynn is on second base. The Mets now in need of a 2-out base hit to get a run closer to Montreal. Tim Foli has failed to get the ball out of the infield and 2 times at bat. Both times he's popped the ball up to first baseman Tony Perez. Rudy May off the stretch. Fastball over the outside corner, strike 1. The New York Mets batting in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Doug Flynn on second base and 2 men away. Now Rudy May eyes Flynn. Here's the pitch on the way. Line drive over second into short center. Base hit. Flynn around third is coming home. The throw coming in from Dawson. Not in time. The run is in. Tim Foli singles to center. And we have a 3-2 ball game. Tim Foli getting his first RBI, and the Mets now have inched back within a run. The run will be unearned since Flynn was safe on a throwing error by Chris Speier. Now Steve Henderson coming up. Henderson hit a long home run over the wall in left center field his last time at bat. Montreal 3, New York 2 in the last half of the fifth inning. From this point forward in the ball game, Joe Torre will be calling on his bullpen to try and hold Montreal in check. Nino Espinosa has left the game for a pinch hitter. The pitch to Henderson. Foul ball back over the dugout and into the crowd on the right side. Strike one. They have a pitching duel going in Cincinnati between Joaquin Andujar of the Astros and Freddie Norman of Cincinnati. The Reds lead 2-1 in the eighth inning. Tim Foli on first base. He delivered a clutch single, a two-out base hit to drive home Doug Flynn. Here's the pitch on the way. Off-speed delivery outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. The Montreal bullpen is quiet. 33-year-old Rudy May has only allowed 2 hits, but each base hit has produced a run. That is timely hitting. Steve Henderson waiting at the plate. And a ground ball hit the shortstop. Chris Speier throws to Dave Cash for a force play on Tim Foli to retire the side. 1 run on 1 hit, 1 error, and the run is unearned, and 1 left on. So, at the end of 5 innings, the score, Montreal 3 and New York 2. Well, here's good news for New York Mets fans. Now, containers of Dairy Lean low-fat milk carry free coupons good for free tickets to the Mets baseball games. You have your choice of 20 games during the season. They're printed on the container. So we're pretty sure we have a game of your choice for you to see. Free. You can find Dairy Lean low-fat milk in the colorful purple container in the dairy case at your local food store. It's protein fortified with vitamins A and D added. If you're watching your diet, remember, it contains only 1% milk fat. It's a great product because it satisfies hunger and thirst at the same time, filling you up without filling you out. So try Dairy Lean low-fat milk soon. Save those coupons printed on the carton and come on out to see a Mets game free. Butch Metzger coming in the game now to hurl for the New York Mets. It will be his first appearance in a Mets uniform. He did not join the New York Mets until the morning they left Florida, Wednesday morning. 2 years ago, he was the co-rookie of the year, hurling for the San Diego Padres when he was in 77 ball games. And last year, pitching for San Diego and St. Louis, he was in 75 ball games, a lot of games. With the Cardinals last year, Butch Metzger won 4 and lost 2. He had a 3.1 ERA. Butch Metzger from Lafayette, Indiana, is a 25-year-old right-hander. And this is his 3rd season in the National League. Metzger is a fastball, slider, and curveball pitcher. And the hitters will tell you that he has a very deceptive motion that makes it hard to pick up the ball. Butch is wearing Tug McGraw's old number 45. And like Pat Zachary, he's also wearing a lot of whiskers on his face. Those whiskers did not exactly please Cardinal manager Vern Rapp. Mets manager Joe Torre does not mind at all. The leadoff batter is Ellis Valentine, and he hits the first pitch foul back into the crowd. Metzger checking out the signs with John Stearns. And the pitch on the way. A squib hit down the third base line. Randle in. Picks it up. Throws off balance. He's out. Beautiful fielding play by Lenny Randle. Big swing by Valentine and a slow roller trickling toward third. Randle flashing in, stabbing with his glove hand. Then comes that difficult maneuver of shoveling that ball from the glove to the throwing hand, that crisscross step in order to be able to throw and getting it over there. One out and nobody on. Dave Cash, the batter. Fastball high, ball one. The 1-0 delivery, a foul ball down the right field line. Now the 1-1 pitch by Metzger and a swing and a miss and a curveball. In the third period now in the Nassau Coliseum, the New York Islanders lead the New York Rangers 7-2. Pitching 1-2. Base hit. Line drive through the hole into left field for Dave Cash. For Dave, it is his second hit of the ball game. He's now 2 for 4. His triple drove in 2 of Montreal's 3 runs. They're in the 9th inning now in Cincinnati. The Reds 2 and the Astros 1. Pitching duel involving Joaquin Andujar and Freddie Norman. George Foster hit his second home run of the year. It came in the 2nd inning. Foster last year hit 52 home runs to lead the major leagues. He became the first player since Willie Mays to hit 50 or more. Breaking ball inside and low now to Andre Dawson, the center fielder. Dawson hitting third of the order, and he has 1 for 2 and a walk in today's ball game. Throw to first, not in time. The Expos have stolen 3 bases in the game today. And Dawson has 2 of the 3. He is the hitter. Metzger working off the stretch, throws to first, not in time. Nino Espinosa worked 5 innings. Nino gave up 3 runs, allowed 8 hits. He walked 4 and struck out 3. Nino did not have his control going for him in today's game. Breaking ball way outside to the right-hand hitter Andre Dawson, and the count is 2-0. The Los Angeles Dodgers with 20-game winner Tommy John on the mound, leading the Atlanta Braves 4-1 in the 8th inning in Atlanta. Let's have the infield looking for 2. Curveball, low, ball 3. And now Metzger is behind 3-0. The Pirates lead the Cubs 1-0 after 5 on the pitching of Bert Blyleven. Pittsburgh beat Chicago 1-0 yesterday. And the pitch, low, ball 4, and Metzger has walked Dawson on 4 pitches. Now the Expos are threatening. They have runners on first and second, 1 away, and their cleanup batter, Gary Carter, coming up. Gary Carter has popped to short, reached on a walk, and been safe on a drive hit to deep left that popped out of Steve Henderson's glove. That was scored as an error. Right-hand hitter Gary Carter, the Montreal cleanup batter, fastball over, strike 1. Gary Carter, who authored 31 homers a year ago and drove in 84. Pickoff attempt, no throw is made as the shortstop Foley dashed over to take it. Now Metzger looking in, checking things out with John Stearns. The infield a double played up. Hit off the end of the bat, foul, off to the right, strike 2. Bob Myrick up in the New York Mets bullpen as Metzger runs into trouble here in the 6th inning. Bush retired the first batter, but then gave up a base hit to Dave Cash, and on 4 pitches he walked Andre Dawson. Tony Perez will be the next hitter. The 2-strike delivery and a line drive in the left field, a base hit. Taken on a hop by Steve Henderson. Here's the throw coming toward the plate, not in time. In to score is Dave Cash, and Montreal has a 4-2 lead. So Metzger was out in front on Gary Carter, but Carter timed the swing right on a curveball, and he singled it upfield. Time called, and Rube Walker is coming out. An RBI for Gary Carter. He had one yesterday with a home run. Pitching coach Rube Walker on the mound, talking now with Butch Metzger. When play resumes, the batter will be Tony Perez. Tony is 0 for 2 with a walk in the ballgame. The Toronto Blue Jays lead Detroit 4-1 in the 4th inning in Detroit. A home run by the Blue Jays' John Mayberry. Mayberry lost his job to a rookie, Clint Hurdle, and was dealt to the Toronto Blue Jays. That's Jerry Garvin against Jim Slayton. The Red Sox, after losing yesterday, are leading the White Sox 4-0 after 4 in today's game in Chicago. Dennis Eckersley pitching for Boston. Ron Schuler has replaced Francisco Berrios. A home run by Boston's Rick Burleson. Cleveland leading Kansas City 8-5 after 5.5 innings. Now Tony Perez cocks the bat, right-hand power hitter. Look out, high and tight, ball 1. 5 home runs have been hit in today's game in Cleveland. Freddie Patek and Hal McRae have homered for the Royals of Whitey Herzog. Curveball off the outside corner, 2-0. Ron Pruitt, Paul Dade, and Andre Thornton have all homered for the Indians. Right here, a tough spot for Metzger. The 2-0 delivery, swing and a miss at a breaking ball. 2 balls and 1 strike. The Mets have Bob Myrick warmed in the bullpen. Del Unser, a left-hand batter, is waiting on deck. And he missed the outside corner to fall behind on Perez, 3-1. With the Expos last year, the veteran Tony Perez had 91 runs batted in. 90 or more, 11 years in a row. 3-1 pitch, swing and a miss, 3-2. The runner on second is Andre Dawson, and Gary Carter is on first. A run is scored. 1 man away on the 6th inning, and the Expos with a 4-2 lead. Metzger goes 3-2. Let's keep an eye on the runners. They're holding up, and the ball is a foul coming back upstairs. No play. Pacing of today's game has been slow. It always is when the pitchers walk batters. Espinosa walked 4. Metzger has walked 1. This time the runners are going with a big jump and a foul ball back on the screen. Lead runner Andre Dawson had a huge jump. He could have stolen third base, but of course with a 3-2 count and the ball in the strike zone, Tony Perez had to go for it. Butch Metzger, 25-year-old right-hander from Lafayette, Indiana, making his first appearance for the Mets. The runners take a lead. The count is 3-2. They are holding up at a ground ball that's going through the hole into right for a base hit. Dawson is coming home to score. Montreal has a 3-run lead, 5-2. Going from first to third, Gary Carter. And this will be all for Metzger, and Bob Myrick will come in. So Tony Perez hitting a ground single to the opposite field beyond the reach of Doug Flynn, bringing home Andre Dawson. This will be all for Butch Metzger. Butch retired the first batter, but now has allowed 4 in a row to reach base. Bob Myrick is coming in to pitch to Del Unser. So we'll see now whether Dick Williams makes a change and goes to a right-hand batter. And while the pitching change is being made here at Shea Stadium, it gives us a chance to bring you right up to date on the Major League Baseball scoreboard. Here's Lindsey Nelson.
All right, Bob. In the National League, the Chicago Cubs are at Pittsburgh, and that game's in the 7th inning with the Pirates out front by a score of 1-0. Ray Burris, 14-16 last year with the Cubs, is on the mound. And Bert Blyleven, who was 14-12 with the Texas Rangers, is going today for Pittsburgh. Dave Parker hit his first home run of the year in the 3rd inning with nobody on base. St. Louis Cardinals are at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia. That game will be played tonight. San Diego Padres play the San Francisco Giants at Candlestick in a game later this afternoon on the West Coast. The Houston Astros are at Cincinnati. You'll recall that the Reds started play today with a record of 2 wins and no losses. And the Reds are leading again by a score of 2-1 as that game goes to the 9th inning. Joaquin Andujar, who was 11-8 with Houston last year, is going on the mound for the Astros. And Freddie Norman, 14-13 with the Reds last year, is pitching for Cincinnati. The Reds leading 2-1 in the 9th. George Foster, at 52 home runs last year, hit his second of the season in the 2nd inning with nobody on. And the Los Angeles Dodgers, who defeated Atlanta last night in the opener, are leading the Atlanta Braves again this afternoon. That one is in the bottom of the 8th inning. And it's the Dodgers 5, Atlanta 1. Tommy John, a 20-game winner last year for the Dodgers against Dick Ruthven, relieved by Eddie Solomon in the 5th and Adrian Devine in the 8th inning. Gary Matthews hit his first home of the year in the 4th with nobody on for Atlanta's only run, and Reggie Smith hit his first in the 5th with nobody on for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Over in the American League, the New York Yankees are playing the Texas Rangers, and it's Ron Guidry. There was a 16-game winner for the Yanks last year against John Madlack, the former Met, who won 7 and lost 15 for the Mets last season. In Detroit, in the bottom of the 4th inning, the Toronto Blue Jays are leading the Detroit Tigers by a score of 4-1. Jerry Garvin, who was 10-18 for the Blue Jays last year, going for Toronto against Detroit's Jim Slayton, who was 10-14 last year. John Mayberry hit his first home of the year in the 3rd with nobody on from Toronto. He was recently obtained from Kansas City. The Boston Red Sox are leading the Chicago White Sox 4-0 in the 5th inning. Dennis Eckersley, recently obtained by the Red Sox from Cleveland, where he was 14-13 last year, going for Don Zimmer's Bostonians. And for the Chicago White Sox, Francisco Barrios, relieved by Ron Shula in the 3rd inning. Burleson hit his first home in the 4th with nobody on for the Red Sox. Kansas City and Cleveland are in the bottom of the 6th inning, and it is Cleveland leading by a score of 8-5. Dennis Leonard started for Kansas City, Marty Patton in the 5th, Gurr in the 6th, Garland for Cleveland, Pontek, McRae, Pruitt, Dade, and Thornton have had homers. We're getting ready to go here once again, and once again, here's Bob Murphy.
All right, Lindsay, Del Unser, left-handed hitter, a veteran outfielder, standing in against left-hander Bob Myrick. Montreal ahead now, 5-2. Runners at 1st and 3rd. Curveball by Myrick, low and away, ball 1. Last year, his first full season in the major leagues, Bob Myrick was in 44 ball games. He wound up with 2 wins and 2 losses. And a foul ball, straight back. 1 ball and 1 strike. Myrick did very little pitching during spring training because he had a knot on his shoulder. Arm became sound again at the end of spring training, and he got into a couple of ball games. Gary Carter on 3rd and Tony Perez on 1st. Foul ball behind 3rd, back upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Del Unser. Base hits have been lopsided. 11 for Montreal, 2 for New York. Now the pitch to Unser, and a ground ball past the mound. Grabbed by Flynn, shoveled to second, 1, back to 1st. Out! Double play, and the side retired. It didn't look like they had a chance to get 2, but Flynn got rid of it so quickly. So it is a 4-6-3 double play to retire the side. For Montreal, 2 runs on 3 hits. 1 man left. At the end of 5.5, the score, Montreal 5, New York 2.
Making sure you come out with the highest possible interest on your savings is another ball game entirely. If you want to be a sure winner, bring your savings to County Federal. It's a fact. You can bounce your bankroll from one bank to another, from the Bowery to the Dime to Lincoln to Dry Dock, Greenwich, Dollar, yet nobody pays higher interest than County Federal. County Federal Savings and Loan pays the highest interest permitted by law, whether you keep your money in a day-to-day savings account or a long-term or short-term savings certificate. County Federal compounds interest daily to give you the highest return you can earn in a federally insured account. And interest is paid every month, not quarterly, so you can use it for living expenses or leave it in your account to earn more interest. Free money orders for depositors and free traveler's checks. At County Federal, in Rockville Center, Valley Stream, Levittown, Wantor, Coram, Comac, Medford, Kew Garden Hills, Astoria, Brooklyn, and Manhattan.
Before Willie Montanez leads off against Rudy May in the home 6th inning, we pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
You know, a perfect time to enjoy the smooth taste of Budweiser is on the weekends, while you're doing your weekend chores or just relaxing. Team up with the king of beers, WMCA New York.
Bob Murphy with Lindsey Nelson and Ralph Kiner. Montreal 5, New York 2. Now the Mets bat in their half of the sixth inning. Mets have managed only 2 hits off southpaw Rudy May. Each hit has driven in a run. Willie Montanez has bounced out and struck out. Fastball high, 1 ball and no strikes. Now May into his windup, and the tall left-hander's pitch hit late, a foul ball down the left field line. 1 ball, 1 strike to Willie Montanez. Willie at 287 with the Atlanta Braves last year. Year before last, he had 206 hits with Atlanta. The 1-1 delivery, foul ball again behind third and back into the crowd. No play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ken Henderson is on deck, and then John Stearns. Bob Myrick came in from the bullpen and got Del Unser to hit into a double play to end the inning. And a swing and a miss, strike 3. Montanez badly fooled. The bat flew out of his hands and went past the mound out near second. Fourth strikeout for Rudy May. He's pitching a very strong ball game. Ken Henderson has flied to right and reached on a walk. Rudy May has had a winning record in each of the last 4 years in the American League. The pitch to Ken Henderson, taken high, 1 ball, no strikes. Each of the last 4 years, he's increased his victory total. And last year, his best ever, he won 18. The 1-0 delivery, inside and low, it's ball 2. Rudy May first came up to the majors with the California Angels. And after his rookie year, he was sent back to the minor leagues and didn't get back for another 3 years. Swing and a miss, 2 balls and a strike to Ken Henderson. He returned as a full-time major leaguer in 1969. 1 out and nobody on. The 2-1 pitch to Ken Henderson. Ground ball toward the hole, base hit going into left field. Ball run down by Speier, but there'll be no throw. So the Mets have just their 3rd hit of the game, a single by Ken Henderson. Henderson's strong throwing arm was on display earlier in this ball game, and it kept a run from scoring. Sparky Anderson's Big Red Machine off to a flying start. They just won their 3rd in a row. 4-hitter by Freddie Norman today, beating the Astros 2-1. John Stearns hitting a foul ball back toward our broadcasting booth, out of play. Final score today in Cincinnati, the Reds 2 and the Astros 1. Freddie Norman the winner, Joaquin Andujar the loser. And the Reds have swept the series. So the Reds are off to a good start. Marty Cornejo getting up now in the New York Mets bullpen. Off the outside corner. Fairly chilly day, and you need a little longer out of that bullpen to be ready. So Joe Torre has Cornejo starting to work now to have him ready when he has to put up a pinch hitter. The 1-1 delivery and a drive well hit to left field by John Stearns. Back goes Unser on the warning track. He's got it for the out. Del Unser, a good outfielder, going back to the warning track to pull in that drive that was well hit by John Stearns. Two men away, 1 on. Lee Mazzilli batting 7th in the order. Maz is 0 for 2. Twice he has flied to center. Lee Mazzilli is the batter. Mets trailing by 3 runs, 5-2. here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. The pitch by Rudy May is outside and low. It's ball 1. We'll get warm-up action in the Montreal bullpen. Darrell Knowles, a veteran left-hander. Stan Bonson, a veteran right-hander, both warming up. A lot of years of experience with those two, Bonson and Knowles. Rudy May fires, and he gets a strike on the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike to Lee Mazzilli. Lee Mazzilli is 0 for 2, trying to get his first hit of the afternoon. And the pitch on the way, lined into short left field. Unser coming in. It breaks off of his glove. He can't handle it. On his way to third is Henderson. He rounds third as being held there. Mazzilli goes into second base. We'll wait for the scoring. I believe that'll be a base hit. Very tough chance for Del Unser. He came racing straight in. The ball was looped into short left field. He lunged forward at the last moment, got his glove on it near the grass, but couldn't hold it. It'll be a base hit for Lee Mazzilli. And it'll be a 2-base hit. Now there are runners on second and third. The Mets sorely in need of a 2-out base hit. If they could get it, they'd be right back in this ballgame. Tom Grieve has come out on deck to be a pinch hitter for Bob Myrick. Doug Flynn is the batter. Doug has 0 for 2. But he reached safely on an error and later scored a run his last time at bat. Doug drove in the game-winning base hit yesterday, the game-winning run. Inside and low, it is ball 1. Mets won yesterday's game 3-1, and Flynn drove in the second run. So he had what they call the game-deciding RBI. Runners on second and third, 2 men away, last of the 6th inning. Here's the windup by May, the pitch, and a ground ball hit down to third, fielded by Garrett. And the long throw in time for the out. So Wayne Garrett throwing out Doug Flynn to retire the side. For New York, no runs. There were 2 hits and 2 left on. Lindsey Nelson will join you for the play-by-play in just a moment. At the end of 6 innings, Montreal 5, New York 2.
Recently, a survey was taken of the prices of premium gasoline. The survey covered hundreds of service stations in the northeastern United States. Virtually every major oil company was included. Right now, I'd like to tell you the results of that survey. In Portland, Maine, Getty Premium sold for less per gallon. In Boston, Getty Premium sold for less. In northern New Jersey, Philadelphia, and New York, Getty Premium sold for less. In fact, in every state surveyed, Getty Premium sold for less per gallon than most major premiums. More premium gas for your money. That has to be the best mileage ingredient you can buy. So the next time you pull in for gas, pull in for Getty Premium gasoline. Getty. Once again, we've got what's best for your car.
Bob Myrick is still on the mound for the New York Mets since they did not keep the rally alive long enough to send up the pinch hitter. Cornejo has stopped throwing down in the bullpen area. And the Montreal Expos are coming up here in the top of the 7th inning with Wayne Garrett to lead it off. Garrett had a base hit in the 2nd inning. He walked and later scored in the 4th. He flied to left in the 5th. He is 1 for 2 and a walk for the afternoon. Wayne Garrett, a former New York Met, who year before last was traded along with Del Unser to Montreal in exchange for Pepe Manguel and Jim Dwyer. Here's the pitch, and it's low for a ball. Chris Speier is on deck. Myrick again delivers high and away. So it's gone to 2-0 now to Wayne Garrett. He looks down to the sideman, Norm Sherry, who is the third base coach for manager Dick Williams of the Expos. Here's a swing and a miss. 2 balls and a strike. Montreal is leading by a score of 5-2. That's high for a ball. So now Myrick is behind 3. When Myrick came in relief of Butch Metzger and got Del Unser to hit into an inning-ending double play in the 6th inning. Here's a 3-1. Swung on and popped up into short right. Going out is second baseman Doug Flynn, backed up by Henderson, who calls him off, and Ken Henderson makes the catch. So there's one away, and that brings up the number 8 man in the order, the shortstop Chris Speier. He has had 3 hits here today. He is 3 for 3. Montreal got 3 runs off Nino Espinosa in the 4th inning. Then the Mets battle back to get 2 singletons in the 4th and 5th to make it a 3-2 ball game. But then off Butch Metzger, Montreal got 2 more to extend the lead to 5-2, where it is now. This pitch is in there for a called strike to the right-hand batting Chris Speier. Rudy May is kneeling in the on-deck circle. It is considerably cooler here this afternoon than it was yesterday. The pitch is in for a called strike. 0-2. And the 0-2 pitch is high for a ball. 1-2. One man out, nobody on base. And the pitch to Speier, hit on the ground to shortstop. Foley scoops it up. Tim Foley's throw is high and over the head of Montanez. And on at first is Chris Speier. Ball hit the railing in front of the lower field boxes and rebounded to Montanez. But Speier was across the bag, safe on the throwing error, charged against Tim Foley. So with one man out, the Expos have a runner at first. They're leading 5-2, so Rudy May is coming up in what is very likely a sacrifice circumstance. He's a left-hand batter who struck out, successfully sacrificed in the rally in the 4th inning, and then he flied to right. Randle, in anticipation of the bunt, has moved up. Around the bunt, it is bunted on and missed. Strike 1. Rudy May went around in the bunting stance, but missed for strike 1. He is looking down to Norm Sherry to see if the bunt is still on, and one would expect that it might very well be. Chris Speier leads. He's around the bunt. Bunts it foul off to the left side, out of play, and it's strike 2. 0-2 now. So do you leave it on all the way? Rudy May is getting that information from the third base coach. Will the manager have him bunt all the way? If a third strike is bunted foul, of course it is a strikeout. So do you, under those circumstances, take it off and let him swing and run the risk of the double play? He's around the bunt. Watches low and away for a ball. It is 1-2. It was still on. 1 ball and 2 strikes, so one would assume that it would still be on. Montanez is holding against the runner. Chris Speier at first base. And the pitch, he's around the bunt, bunts it up the third base line, taken by Randle. He's going to first. Flynn takes it there, moving to second. On the sacrifice is Speier. The sack goes, in case you're scoring, 5-4. And it brings up Ellis Valentine with a runner at second and 2 men out. Montreal batting here in the top of the 7th inning at Shea Stadium in New York. Valentine, 2 for 4. Here is a final hockey score. The Islanders 7 and the Rangers 2, and that is a final. The Islanders have won it. The Islanders 7, the Rangers 2 at the Nassau Coliseum. Valentine is in and waiting now. Here's a swing and a miss. It's strike 1. 0-1. Valentine pounds the plate. Bob Myrick sets up. Wind blows dust across the infield. So time is called now as Myrick steps off. He wears contacts. A little bothered with the dust blowing by there. So now he's getting set to work again as he picks up a sign from John Stearns. Offers 0-1, and it's in there. Fastball at the knees for a called strike 2. 0-2 to Ellis Valentine. General manager of these Montreal Expos is Charlie Fox, native of the Bronx and a long-time member of the Giants organization in New York and San Francisco, one-time field manager of the San Francisco Giants. Now, a pitch that swung on and hit in the air to center field. And short center Doug Flynn, the second baseman, is retreating, and he makes the catch. So the side is retired. There was an error, and there was one left. And at the middle of the 7th inning, the score is Montreal 5 and the Mets 2. You know, the best buy in baseball yearbooks has traditionally been the New York Mets official yearbook, and the 1978 edition is certainly no exception. It contains 64 pages, half in color, filled with highlights such as a 2-page team picture suitable for framing, a dramatic photo of the 4 greatest center fielders in New York baseball history from last year's Old Timers Day ceremonies, color pictures of the 1977 All-Star teams, and a photo quiz of former Mets to test your memory. As you're well aware, the Mets roster has changed dramatically over the past year. There's no better way to keep tabs on the team than with your own yearbook full of pictures, biographies, and statistics of Mets players old and new. Don't forget, the price of the 1978 Mets yearbook remains the lowest in baseball. Only $1 here at Shea and $1.25 by mail. Pick up your copy here at the ballpark the next time you come out, or you can order it now by mail as well. To do that, you simply send a check or a money order for $1.25 to Mets Yearbook, Box 10, Flushing, New York, zip code 11357. Bruce Beauclair is coming up to bat now for Myrick. Bruce Beauclair is batting for Bob Myrick. The Mets are trailing by 3 as they bat in the bottom of the 7th inning. Rudy May is still on the mound. Ball is bunted up the first base line. May is after, turns to throw, and on by the first baseman. Beauclair's going to drop to second. Valentine up his rifle arm, but safe at second is Beauclair. So the Mets have a runner at second with nobody out. It was a drag bunt. Pulled up the first baseline for the left-hand batting Beauclair. Rudy May got to it, but he was only about 10 feet from the first baseman, Perez. He fired it right on by Perez, who was covering up, if anything. It went down the right field line in foul territory. It was a long way for the right fielder, Ellis Valentine, to get over there, so Beauclair turned and streaked for second. The rifle arm fired the ball to second, but not in time to get Beauclair, and Lenny Randle is coming up. Lenny Randle has walked, had 1 stolen base and grounded out. The Expos are leading 5-2. Charge that as an error on the throw all the way against Rudy May, the pitcher. Now the pitch to the right-hand batting Lenny Randle. He's a switch hitter batting right. Beauclair's play ruled an error all the way by the official scorer. That's trying to get something going on the scoreboard here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Rudy May bends in to get the sign. Stan Bonson, Darrell Knowles up and throwing in the Montreal bullpen. That's a breaking pitch. It comes in a little high. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Lenny Randle. Tim Foli is on deck. Montreal 5 and the Mets 2 in the bottom of the 7th inning. Again, Rudy May bends in. Picking up the sign from his catcher, Gary Carter. He's got it. Beauclair leads at second base. Here is the 1-1 delivery, and it's swung on and hit high in the air to left field. Unser can play it, shading his eyes a little bit, moves up a step or two. Beauclair's halfway. The catch is made. Beauclair retreats to second base. Randle with a high fly ball to left. 1 away, and Tim Foli is coming up. Foli delivered a base hit to center field in the 5th inning to drive in a run. He is 1 for 3 for the afternoon. Steve Henderson has moved out on deck. Stevie had a home run in the 4th inning of this ball game, put the Mets on the scoreboard for the first time. Rudy May was an 18-game winner last year with Baltimore, the biggest winning season he's ever had in the major league. Gets his sign now as Bruce Beauclair leads off the bag at second. And the pitch to Foli. Shortened up as though the bunt took it outside. It's ball 1. Wayne Garrett's the third baseman. Tony Perez the first baseman. Again, Rudy May has the sign. Sets up and deals to Foli. It's swung on it on the ground to shortstop. Beauclair holds, and Chris Speier fires over the first in time, no advance. 2 away. That will bring up Steve Henderson. Here is the final score. The Los Angeles Dodgers have made it 2 in a row over the Atlanta Braves in Atlanta. Dodgers 6, Atlanta 2. Tommy John got the win. Terry Forster relieved in the 8th inning for the Dodgers. Dick Ruthven took the loss. Eddie Solomon in the 5th. Adrian Devine in the 8th. Gary Matthews hit his first home in the 4th with nobody on for Atlanta. And Reggie Smith hit his first home of the year in the 5th with nobody on for the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Dodgers swamped Atlanta 13-4 last night in the opener, so they've made it 2 in a row. Both Cincinnati and the Dodgers off to roaring starts in the Western Division of the National League. Steve Henderson at the plate. Rudy May checks the runner at second, deals the pitch, and it's high and away for a ball. It's 1-0. Montreal 5, Mets 2. Henderson has picked up many of the mannerisms of George Foster of the Cincinnati Reds. Henderson was in the Cincinnati organization before coming to the New York Mets last summer. Now the 1-0. And it's dealt in there for a called strike. So it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Henderson bats number 3 in the Met order. One of those mannerisms of which I spoke is being exhibited right now as Henderson turns and walks some 6-8 feet away from the plate. The man who must hold the National League record for stepping out of the batter's box is George Foster of the Cincinnati Reds. Foster explains that it's done with a purpose. Try to break any rhythm that the pitcher might be developing. Here's the 1-1, swung on and foul back. It's out of play. So it's 1-2. Rudy May has struck out 4 and he's walked 3. Steve Henderson now is jogging over to the on-deck circle to get the pine tar rag. Willie Montanez is on deck there. Now Henderson is coming back around. He's a right-hand batter. Took a fleeting look down to Dal Maxwell, the sign man at third. May is getting the sign. Steve Henderson, a little tired, backs out again now. Could be a little game of cat and mouse going on here between Rudy May and Steve Henderson. In any case, it's time-consuming. Whatever. Now May sets up. And the 1-2 pitch. Low for a ball. Both May and Carter started for the dugout. There are 2 men out, and they both started to the dugout on the pitch. Jerry Dale is the umpire behind the plate. And there's a little heat from the dugout of the Montreal Expos. Fans here trying to get a Let's Go Mets chant started once again. Rudy May sets up. Offers the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Steve Henderson has struck out, and the side is retired. Strikeout number 5 credited to Rudy May. There was an error, and there was 1 left, and at the end of 7, the score is Montreal 5 and the Mets 2.
The day is done.
Coming home.
It's time to let it go. It's the moment to unwind.
Welcome home.
So just say bud.
Say bud.
And pour the king of beers and settle back and please yourself. No matter what you do, no matter when or where, you know a glass of bud is like an easy chair when you say Budweiser.
Yeah, Budweiser. Absolutely the best way to call it a day. Any day. You know what I mean.
When you say Budweiser, you said it all.
Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
For the Mets now, Bruce Beauclair stays in the ballgame in left field, and Marty Cornejo comes in to do the pitching. He is making his Major League debut here this afternoon. Marty Cornejo, he will bat number 3 in the order in place of Henderson, Steve Henderson, who has come out of the game. Beauclair, of course, bats number 9. Marty Cornejo is 26 years of age. He is from Wellington, Kansas. Acquired for the Mets, the 21st selection in the June 1973 free agent draft. Had his best year of his professional career last year, as he recorded at least one win and one save against every team in the league, pitching for the Mets AAA Farm Club at Tidewater, Virginia, where he had a record of 11-6 and an ERA of 2.63. Marty Cornejo briefly attended the University of Tulsa. Was named to the Texas League All-Star team in both 75 and 76. Best pitch is a fork ball, which he delivers effectively. He says that he has been pitching a fork ball since he was about 11 years old. So he has been brought in here in relief. Mike Brewitt and Marty Cornejo were the two young pitchers who made the Met pitching staff this year and were brought north by manager Joe Torre. Mike Brewitt will make his major league debut tomorrow, as he'll get a start in one of the two games against the Expos in tomorrow's doubleheader. Through 7 innings of play, Montreal, 5 runs, 11 hits, and 2 errors. The Mets, 2 runs, 4 hits, and 3 errors. And before we get underway, we'll pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
Hey, the next time someone asks you, when do you say Budweiser, tell them anytime. Anytime you want to enjoy the smooth, beechwood-aged taste of the king of beers. WMCA, New York.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Cantor and Bob Murphy here at Shea Stadium, where the Montreal Expos are leading the Mets by a score of 5-2. And the Expos are batting in the top of the 8th inning with Dave Cash to lead it off. He's had 2 hits today. A triple that drove in 2 runs, a big hit in the 4th inning, and a single in the 6th, and he later scored. So he scored 2 and driven in 2. Here is a swing and a foul ball. Or rather, it's in the dirt, I beg your pardon. Swung his body around. Laid off, and it is 1-0. Marty Cornejo, a right-hander. Pitch is low for a ball. It's 2-0. Marty Cornejo wears the number 47. For you trivia devotees, who was the first New York Met pitcher ever to wear the number 47? Low for a ball. Well, he was also the first winning pitcher in New York Met history back in 1962 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Here's a 2-0 delivery. Swung on and missed. It's 2-1. Jay Hook wore the number 47 of the original Mets. An expansion draft selection off the roster of that time, the Cincinnati Reds. Here is a 2-1 pitch. Swung on, and it is up the middle, and it's going to go through for a base hit. Cash turns and holds with his 3rd base hit of the afternoon. Marty Cornejo had a swipe of the glove at that one as it went through the pitcher's box, but on out into center field. Andre Dawson coming up. He's 1 for 2 and 2 walks. He's stolen 2 bases, scored 1 run. A many-talented ball player who patrols center field for manager Dick Williams' Montreal Expos. That is in for a call strike. It's 0-1. Dave Cash has taken a lead at first base. Montanez is holding against him there, and Cornejo throws over. Nino Espinosa is the pitcher of record. He started and worked 5 innings. Butch Metzger, the newest of the New York Mets, obtained recently from the St. Louis Cardinals, worked 1/3 of an inning. Runner goes. Here's a swing and a miss. Throw to second base and a stolen base for Dave Cash as the ball rolls away down there at second. 0-2 is the count to Andre Dawson at the plate. Runner at second with nobody out. Paid attendance here this afternoon is 7,259. The total attendance in the ballpark is 19,118. 7,259 paid, 19,118 total. There's a swing and a miss at an outside pitch, and he is struck out. That is the first strikeout in his major league career for Marty Cornejo, as he got Andre Dawson swinging, and Jerry Curtis coming up. He's 1 for 3 and a walk, and he's driven in 1 run. Carter hits cleanup, right-hand batter. It's been a stiff wind blowing around the stadium here this afternoon. And at Shea Stadium, it blows in gusts in all directions at the same time. If that's possible. That's high for a ball. It's 1-0. Montreal is leading by a score of 5-2. They have led throughout the ball game. There was no scoring during the first 3 innings here today, but Montreal got 3 in the 4th inning. Here's a 1-0. In there for a called strike. It's 1-1. Cornejo again off the stretch, kicks and fires, and the pitch is low for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike to Gary Carter, followed in the order by Tony Perez. Dave Cash has taken the lead at second base. Well, there's a hot dog wrapper blowing around on the mound, and Cornejo starts to chase it and then thinks better of it. Returns to the mound. And a 2-1 pitch is on the way. It's in there for a called strike, so it's 2-2 now to Gary Carter. Shadows have lengthened out beyond second base now here at Shea Stadium. Umpires at first and third have their hands thrust deep into their trouser pockets against the cold of the afternoon. A swing and a miss, and Cornejo with the fork ball gets his second strikeout. 2 away, Cash holds at second, and Tony Perez is coming up. Struck out, walked, struck out, and singled to drive in a run. That was off Metzger. The last batter faced by Metzger before he was relieved by Bob Marek. Cornejo with the pitch, and it's low for a ball. One stretch in Cincinnati, Tony Perez played third base with big Lee May playing first at that time, but May was traded away to Houston and went on to Baltimore. Here's a 1-0 delivery. Hit on the ground to shortstop. Foley has it up and throwing across the diamond, low but dug out by Willie Montanez. So Sod is retired. There was a hit, there was a stolen base and 1 left, and in the middle of the 8th inning, the score is Montreal 5 and the Mets 2. The Montreal Expos are making some changes here now. As we prepare to go to the bottom of the 8th inning, they have sent Sam Mejias into left field. Sam Mejias is coming to play left. Del Unser is moving from left field to first base. And Pepe Frias is coming in to play second base. Those changes for the Montreal Expos. Pepe Frias will bat 5th. If you're keeping a scorecard, that's in place of Perez. Sam Mejias will bat 2nd. Willie Montanez is coming up to lead it off. Montreal is leading 5-2. The Mets are batting in the bottom of the 8th inning. Rudy May has been in all the way, although the bullpen has been warm with Stan Bonson and Darrell Knowles for the past few innings. Here's a pitch low for a ball. 1-0 to Montanez, who grounded out to first base and struck out twice 0 for 3. May, a left-hander, deals to the left-hand batter, high and away for a ball. It's 2-0. Ken Henderson is on deck. Pitch is dealt in there for a called strike, so it is 2-1. This is a 2-1. Swung on and hit high into the air to left center field. Andre Dawson moves up, shading his eyes, and the ball is dropped as he collides with Sam Mejias. On its second is Montanez. Mejias bumped into Andre Dawson. It was the center fielder's play. Almost directly lined up with second base, but Mejias just kept on coming, and after the ball was in the glove of Dawson, Mejias came into him and jolted the ball out. Montanez running it out. It is an error charged against Mejias. An error charged against Mejias on the play. So the Mets have a runner at second base, and Ken Henderson is coming up. Switch hitter batting right. He's 1 for 2 in a walk. Drove in the first Met run yesterday. Rudy May with the pitch. Swung on and foul back. It's strike one. Well, Sam Mejias was inserted into the ball game for defense. And he just ran over his center fielder in a two-base error. Rudy May bends in to pick up a sign. Montanez leads at second base. The pitch is low for a ball. So it's 1-1. John Stearns has moved on deck for the Mets. Briefly, Fred Holdsworth and Bill Atkinson had been up throwing, just getting in a little work. But quickly now, Bonson and Knowles are back up and throwing in the Montreal bullpen. Here's a pitch swung it on the ground, and deep short. It's taken by Speier. He guns it, and in time. No advance from Montanez at second base. One away, and John Stearns will be the batter. He has struck out and twice flied to left, 0 for 3. Montreal Expos have 5 runs, 12 hits. The Mets have 2 runs, 4 hits. Stearns is a right-hand batter facing the left-hand pitcher, Rudy May. And the pitch swung on and hit in the air to left field. Mejias goes back to the edge of the track calling. Mejias makes the catch. Halfway, Montanez retreats to second, no advance. 2 men are out, and Lee Mazzilli is coming up. Mazzilli flied to center, and doubled. He looped one out into left field in the 6th inning, and Del Unser tried to shoestring it. He did not get it. It went by him for 2 bases. Scored as a double for Lee Mazzilli. Mazzilli is a switch hitter, batting right here this afternoon. We'll be here for a doubleheader tomorrow. Be on the air at 1 p.m. Mets in Montreal in the first doubleheader of the season. Outfield defense sets up straight away. Rudy May off the stretch. Montanez leads at second base. Now the pitch. Swung on and hammered on the ground. Foul back of third. Gloved in the backhand stab by Wayne Garrett. Foul ball brings Lee Mazzilli back to the plate with a count of strike one. Mazzilli's batting number 7 in the order today. The only change other than the pitcher that manager Joe Torre made in his order from yesterday, in a concession to the left-hander starting for Montreal today, was to switch Stearns and Mazzilli. Yesterday, Mazzilli batted ahead of Stearns against right-hander Steve Rogers. Here's the 0-1. Swung on and hit deep to left field. It is way back there to the wall. It's going. Got a home run for Lee Mazzilli. A 2-run homer, and the score is Montreal 5 and the Mets 4. A 2-run homer for Lee Mazzilli over the left field fence. The Mets trail by only a run as they bat here in the 8th inning. So with 2 men out and nobody on now, Doug Flynn is coming up. He was on an error and later scored in the 5th inning. The Mets are trailing by only 1 run. It's Montreal 5 and the Mets 4 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Here is Rudy May now into the motion. Kicks and fires. Swinging a drive. That is going foul up the left field line, out of play. 1 hop into the stands down to the left field corner. Doug Flynn comes back, picks up the bat. Nobody on deck. Bruce Beauclair is scheduled to bat 9th, and now he comes out on deck. Beauclair bats number 9. Cornejo, the pitcher, bats number 3 in the order. Here's a pitch. In for a called strike. It's at the knees. Flynn disputes the call of umpire Jerry Dale. It is 0-2. Rudy May starts to work. 0-2 pitch. Low for a ball, and it's 1-2. The two-run homer by Lee Mazzilli getting the Mets right back into this ball game here in the bottom of the 8th inning when they trail by only a run. Now this is a 1-2 delivery. In for a call, strike 3. The fastball caught him looking. Flynn just drops the bat and the helmet right there at the plate. Strikeout number 6 for May. Side is retired. The Mets got a run on a hit and an error. None left. And at the end of 8, the score is Montreal 5 and the Mets 4. We'll be coming up here now in the top of the 9th inning with Del Unser to lead it off for Montreal. Marty Cornejo still on the mound for the New York Mets. The lights have been turned on here at Shea now. Unser is 0 for 4. The National League, the Chicago Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates are now in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Pittsburgh was leading 3-0, but the Cubs have just scored 3 in the top of the 8th to tie it 3-3. Ray Burris against Bert Blyleven. Dave Parker had a homer in the 3rd with nobody on for Pittsburgh. St. Louis down at Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia tonight. Del Unser in and waiting, batting in the top of the 9th inning for the Montreal Expos. Marty Cornejo with the pitch, outside, fastball. At the end of an inning, San Diego Padres nothing, San Francisco Giants nothing. Bob Shirley against Jim Barr. Now the 1-0, swung on and foul off to the left side, out of play. Cincinnati Reds defeated Houston by a final score of 2-1, so Cincinnati Reds have taken 3 in a row from Bill Verdon's Houston Astros. Freddie Norman got the win this afternoon. Joaquin Andujar took the loss, and George Foster, who had 52 home runs last year, hit his 2nd of the year in the 2nd inning with nobody on. Here's a pitch to Unser, and it's low for a ball. And the Los Angeles Dodgers beat the Atlanta Braves 6-2 in Atlanta's opener last night. The Dodgers swamped the Braves, and then they made it 2 in a row this afternoon, winning 6-2. Tommy John got the win. Dick Ruthven took the loss. Swinging a foul ball off to the left side. It's a 2-2 count now to Unser. Gary Matthews had an Atlanta home run this afternoon, and Reggie Smith had one for the Dodgers. The American League at the end of an inning, Texas Rangers 1, the New York Yankees nothing. John Madlack is going for the Rangers, and Ron Guidry is pitching for the Yankees. 2-2 pitch. High and away, it's 3-2. Toronto and Detroit are now in the 9th inning, and the Toronto Blue Jays are leading the Tigers by a score of 4-2. Jerry Garvin against Jim Slayton. John Mayberry had a homer, and Ron LaFleur had one. Mayberry for Toronto, LaFleur for Detroit. 3-2 pitch, swung on and hit on the ground to second base. Taken by Flynn, goes to Montanez, and there's one away. That will bring up Wayne Garrett. Garrett is 1 for 3 in a walk. The former Met playing third base this afternoon for Montreal. Boston Red Sox, Chicago White Sox are in the bottom of the 8th inning, and Boston's leading 5-2. Dennis Eckersley has been relieved by Bill Campbell now in the 8th inning for Don Zimmer's Red Sox. Francisco Barrios started for Chicago. Ron Shula in the 3rd and Pablo Torrealba in the 6th inning. Burleson hit his first home in the 4th with nobody on. Low for a ball to Garrett. Cleveland defeated the Kansas City Royals of Whitey Herzog by a score of 8-5. Wayne Garland got the win. Dennis Leonard took the loss. Pitch is low for a ball. Freddie Pontek hit a homer, and so did Hal McRae for Kansas City. Ron Pruitt hit one, and Paul Dade hit one, and so did Andre Thornton for Cleveland. That was in the 5th inning, Thornton's. Here's a 2-0 pitch to Garrett. Hit in the air to left field, and drifting back is Bruce Beauclair. Edge of the track, waiting, he's got it. 2 men out with Montreal batting here in the top of the 9th inning. Baltimore Orioles have scored 3 times from the top of the 1st inning. Milwaukee coming to bat. Dennis Martinez against Moose Haas. Minnesota at Seattle tonight, and Oakland at California also tonight. Right here, Montreal is leading the Mets 5-4. If you want to look ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, the Mets will be sending up Bruce Beauclair, Lenny Randle, and Tim Foli. Chris Speier sends a ground ball up the middle, and there's a base hit. Picked up in center field by Lee Mazzilli and played back, and Chris Speier has singled on the ground for the Montreal Expos. Rudy May, the pitcher, is peeling off his jacket. He struck out, sacrifice, flied to right and sacrificed, officially 0 for 2. Each team has committed 3 errors here this afternoon in this early season ball game. Left-hand batter Rudy May is in and waiting. Marty Cornejo, right-hand pitcher, looks in to get his sign. Montanez holds against the runner. Chris Speier at first, and the pitch is high and away for a ball. It's 1-0. Doubleheader here tomorrow afternoon. Now the 1-0 pitch. Swung on and missed. 1-1. Chris Speier hustling back to the bag at first as John Stearns bluffed to throw down there. This will be a 1-1. It's on the way. And it's fouled off, rolling back toward the Met dugout, out of play. It's 1-2 now to Rudy May at the plate. Montreal 5, the Mets 4 in the top of the 9th inning. Montreal bullpen is warm. Stan Bonson throwing down there. Cornejo looks in to get his sign once again. He's got it. And the pitch is swung on and missed on the check swing. Runner was going. He dropped by Stearns. He tags May. It's a strikeout, and the side's retired. Third strikeout for Cornejo on the fork ball. There was a hit. There was one man left in the middle of the 9th inning. The score is Montreal 5 and the Mets 4.
What's the big idea? The big idea is the Astoria idea. An idea designed to come through with many happy returns for you.
Astoria Federal has some big ideas for you, like 6-year savings certificates with an effective annual yield of 8.17%, the most the law allows. 4-year certificates yield 7.9%, 2.5 years 7.08%, and there are big ideas in 90-day and 1-year accounts. The law on time deposits requires a penalty on withdrawal before maturity, so Astoria has another big idea, ready cash savings for your everyday needs. Big ideas, that's Astoria Federal.
An idea designed to come through with many happy returns for you. The Astoria idea.
The New York Mets will be coming up here now in the bottom of the 9th inning, trailing by a run, and they'll have Bruce Beauclair up to lead it off. Bruce appeared as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. Was on a 2-base error by pitcher Rudy May as he effected a drag bunt down the first base line. So Beauclair, who had an excellent spring, will be trying to get it started here now. The Mets trail by a run in the bottom of the 9th, and Rudy May has been in all the way. Beauclair, left-hand batter, facing the left-hand pitcher. Chant of Let's Go Mets here at Shea Stadium. Rudy May into the motion, and the pitch fired low for a ball. It's 1-0. Garrett's on the grass at third against Beauclair. Lenny Randle is waiting on deck. Beauclair bats number 9 in the order. Rudy May again dips into the motion and delivers the pitch high for a ball. It's 2-0. Beauclair now backs out, walks around outside the batter's box. Catcher Gary Carter, a few feet in front of the plate, firing the ball back out there to Rudy May, who has gone behind to Beauclair. The Mets are looking for a base runner. They trail by a run. Beauclair's back in wide stance at the plate. Here is the 2-0 delivery, and it is taken low inside. Rudy May's gone behind 3-0. Beauclair looks down to Dow Maxwell now, and you would guess he'd be taking here. You want that man on base if you trail by a run in the bottom of the 9th inning. Carter says a word or two to the plate umpire, Jerry Dale. Beauclair back in. Here's Rudy May with the 3-0 pitch, and it is high. Walked him, and the Mets get the base runner. Fourth walk issued today by Rudy May. Puts Beauclair on at first. And Lenny Randle goes back for a word with his manager, Joe Torre. Torre talking to Lenny Randle on the top step of the dugout. So how do you play it here now? The book says if you're at home, you go for the tie. Get that tying run on there. If you're on the road, you go for the win and disdain the sacrifice. But the Montreal Expos will be expecting Lenny Randle to lay the ball down. He is a switch hitter. He bats right. Stan Bonson, Darrell Knowles up and throwing once again in the bullpen for the Montreal Expos. The Mets are making their bid here now in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Del Unser playing first base, holds against the runner Beauclair. Garrett's on the grass at third. Rudy May sets up, and here's the pitch to Randle. He's around, bunts the ball out in front of the plate. Good bunt. And it's taken by Garrett. Fires to first in time to Unser. The sacrifice bunt has moved the tying run into scoring position at second. An excellent bunt by Lenny Randle. If you're scoring it, it goes 5-3. So now Tim Foli is coming up. Tim Foli is coming up here, and Dick Williams has called time and is going to the mound. Tom Grieve has come out on deck as a prospective pinch batter after Foley. That would be for pitcher Cornejo. And Williams now is at the mound talking to Rudy May. Mets have pushed the tying run into scoring position, and Dick Williams is going to make a change right here. He may be going for his veteran right-hander. Stan Bonson is the right-hander. He's got two veterans down there, Bonson and Knowles, and apparently he wants the right-hander to pitch to Foley. So Foley walks back over to the dugout to wait for the reliever to come in, and it is Stan Bonson, who worked yesterday for 2 innings, gave up no runs on only 1 hit. He struck out 2 and he walked 3. His lifetime record against the Mets is 2-1, as he did not figure in the final outcome yesterday. Steve Rogers was the losing pitcher. He has a lifetime Major League record of 133 wins and 135 losses. At Oakland last year, he won 1 and lost 2, and then came to Montreal where he won 8 and lost 9. Stan Bonson walking in from the bullpen. So Rudy May has gone out of the ballgame after having pitched 8 1/3. During which he gave up 4 runs on 5 hits. He struck out 6 and he walked 4. We'll bring you up to date in just a moment on scores of other games. Bonson has arrived at the mound. He's taking his warm-up pitches. In the National League, Pittsburgh still batting in the bottom of the 8th inning in a 3-3 tie with the Chicago Cubs. San Francisco Giants got 4 runs in the second. It's the Giants 4, San Diego nothing in the 3rd inning. Bob Shirley against Jim Barr. Cincinnati beat Houston 2-1. That's a final. Freddie Norman beat Joaquin Andujar, and George Foster had a homer. And the Dodgers beat Atlanta 6-2. Tommy John over Dick Ruthven, Gary Matthews, and Reggie Smith had home runs. In the bottom of the 3rd inning in the American League, the Texas Rangers still lead the Yankees 1-0. Ron Guidry against John Matlack. In the 9th inning, Toronto is leading Detroit by a score of 4-2. In the 9th inning, Chicago White Sox 6, Boston Red Sox 5. Chicago got 4 runs in the 8th inning. Cleveland beat Kansas City 8-5. Wayne Garland over Dennis Leonard. Homers by Freddie Patek, Hal McRae, Ron Pruitt, Paul Dade, and Andre Thornton. Baltimore got 3 in the top of the first. Milwaukee coming to bat. And Minnesota plays at Seattle tonight. Oakland at California also tonight. We're getting ready to go here. The Montreal Expos are leading the Mets 5-4. The Mets are batting in the bottom of the 9th inning with 1 man out. Bruce Beauclair, the runner at second base, and Tim Foli at the plate. Foli had a single, defended a drive and a run in the bottom of the 5th inning. Stan Bonson, right-hander, working to the right-hand batter. Bonson now sets up. He checks Beauclair, the runner at second. Here's the pitch. Deals it in there for a called strike. Ed Cranepool now has replaced Tom Grieve on deck as the prospective pinch batter. Cranepool, a left-hand batter, is out there. Tim Foli holds that bat high. Stan Bonson checks the runner, kicks and fires. Swinging a foul ball off a curveball. 0-2, the count quickly to Tim Foli. The Mets trying to get the tying run in there from second base. Having taken a breather, Stan Bonson steps up and steps off again. Now he's back up, holds that ball behind him while he's getting the sign from Gary Carter. Montreal 5, the Mets 4. And now a little trouble with the communication, so time is called and Carter goes out. to have a word with his pitcher. They meet halfway between the mound and home plate to talk it over. A little trouble with the signs. Beauclair just hopping up and down out there with the bag at second, trying to keep warm. It's been a cooler day here this afternoon than it was yesterday on opening day. Now, we're ready to go again. Beauclair takes his lead at second base. Bonson has the sign and he sets up. Foley has the bat cocked, and the pitch is outside for a ball. It's 1-2. Outfield defense is straight away. Foley stays right in the batter's box. Bonson sets it up. Off is 1-2. Swung on and hit in the air to left field. Sam Mejia can play it. He's back there at the edge of the track and makes the catch. Beauclair retreats to second. We pause for station identification. This is the New York Mets Baseball Network.
This is WMCA, Strauss Communications in New York. 57 on your AM dial. The radio home of the New York Mets.
This is Lindsey Nelson with Ralph Kiner and Bob Murphy at Shea, and the chant is Eddie, because Eddie Kranepool is coming up with 2 men out and the tying run at second base. Eddie Kranepool, who has a pinch hitter, over the last 4 years has had an aggregate average of better than 400 as a pinch hitter. Batting left against the right-hander Stan Bonson. It's all up to Eddie as Montreal leads 5-4. Bonson sets up. Here's the pitch. And it is inside for a ball. It's 1-0. Bonson on the rubber. Bends to get his side. Bruce Beauclair, the runner at second base, has taken his lead. The chant continues of Eddie from the fans here at Shea Stadium in New York. Kranepool has the bat cocked and the pitch is swung on. It's hit in the air to right field. Going back is Ellis Valentine. It's going deep. It's gone. A home run. The Mets have won the ball game. Eddie Kranepool with a pinch homer over the right field fence, and the Mets have won it by a score of 6-5. Ed Kranepool with a home run over the fence, and the New York Mets have won it. Kranepool is being swamped at the plate. The Mets are all around him. A home run over the right field fence, and the Mets have come from behind to make it 2 wins in a row. What a finish here at Shea Stadium. The oldest of the New York Mets, Eddie Kranepool, the elder statesman, stepped up to the plate, and with a count of 1-0, he had a home run over the right field fence. In right field, Ellis Valentine did not at first realize that it would go that deep, nor did we. Apparently it got one of those wind currents, and as Ellis Valentine, too late, fled toward the wall, the ball disappeared over the right field wall, and the chant continues, Eddie, because Eddie Kranepool has just delivered a 2-run pinch homer to bring the New York Mets to victory, their second time out, and they still have a percentage of 1,000. They have won 2 and lost none. We'll be back in a moment with the final summary and the final totals. Right now, the final score of the ball game is the Mets 6 and the Expos 5.
The day is done. Coming home. It's time to let it go. It's the moment to unwind. Welcome home. So just say bud. Say bud. And pour the king of beers and settle back and please yourself. No matter what you do, no matter when or where, you know a glass of bud is like an easy chair. When you say Budweiser, you said it all. When you say Budweiser, you said it all. When you say Budweiser, you said it all. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
Well, there was more suspense today than yesterday, but the New York Mets, with an exciting finish, have made it 2 in a row over the Montreal Expos. Ed Kranepool with a 2-run homer gives Marty Cornejo the win. A young man making his Major League debut here this afternoon comes off as the winning pitcher. Stan Bonson is the losing pitcher. And Eddie Kranepool delivers the game-winning blow, a pinch homer, over to right field. The wind has been shifting around this ballpark all afternoon long. The flag blowing first one direction, then another direction, and the ball obviously got into a wind current that Ellis Valentine did not anticipate, because by the time that he turned and fled toward the wall, it was too late, and the ball disappeared from view, and the New York Mets had won the ball game. There was no scoring here this afternoon for the first 3 innings, as Nino Espinosa was on the mound against Rudy May, but then Montreal in the 4th inning got 3. Wayne Garrett led off with a walk. Chris Speier had a base hit. Rudy May sacrificed them along, and then Dave Cash, after Ellis Valentine had flied to right, Cash tripled to drive in 2. Andre Dawson singled to drive in another, and Montreal was leading by a score of 3-0. Well, the New York Mets did battle back. Steve Henderson opened up the bottom of the 4th inning with a home run. That made it 3-1. Then the Mets in the 5th got another when Doug Flynn was on an error, and he was singled home eventually by Tim Foli. So it was a 3-2 ball game. And the thought was that the New York Mets were getting back into the game. But Espinosa had been struggling, and so the newest of the Mets obtained the day they left Florida in spring training from the Cardinals, Butch Metzger, came on in relief. He retired Ellis Valentine, but then Dave Cash had a base hit. Andre Dawson walked, Gary Carter singled a drive and a run, and Tony Perez singled a drive and another. That was all for Butch Metzger, as Bob Myrick came in to get Del Unser on a double play ball and get him out of the trouble. But Montreal then got 2 runs in that inning to give them 5, and the New York Mets battled back then in the 8th inning to get 2 on a 2-run homer by Lee Mazzilli. Willie Montanez was on an error committed by Sam Mejias when he collided with Andre Dawson. Mazzilli hit a 2-run homer, and the Mets trailed by only 1 run. And then in the 9th inning, Bruce Beauclair walked, and with 2 men out, Eddie Kranepool homered over the right field fence, and the Mets won it by a score of 6-5. Well, the elder statesman of the New York Mets, Eddie Kranepool, won it with a 2-run pinch homer, and we'll be back here tomorrow afternoon for a doubleheader. The Mets in Montreal will be on the air at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. We had a paid crowd today of 7,259, but a total crowd in the ballpark today of 19,118, and here are the final totals. For the New York Mets, 6 runs on 6 hits and 3 errors. Montreal, 5 runs on 13 hits and 3 errors. The winning pitcher is Marty Cornejo, and the losing pitcher is Stan Bonson. Again, the final score, the Mets 6 and Montreal 5. In the Schaefer Met Player of the Year competition, Lee Mazzilli gets 4 points for a home run, a double, 2 runs batted in, and Ed Kranepool gets 6 points for his game-winning home run. And now it's time for the Getty unleaded player for this game. He got the lead out, and he is a regular guy, and this is what he did to win the award. He simply hit the ball over the right field fence to win the ball game for the Mets in the bottom half of the 9th, and it's Eddie Kranepool, winner of the Getty Award for the day. Our statistician, Artie Friedman, our engineer, Hal Brown, will be back tomorrow afternoon to bring you the doubleheader between the Mets and Montreal. Until then, speaking for Bob Murphy and Ralph Kiner, this is Lindsey Nelson saying so long. Now back to the studios of WMCA.